for American cricket began in 2021.
There he goes into a dive! What a catch!
The rise of cricket was celebrated across the country. Now, with big wickets and even bigger hits, the stars of minor league cricket are back and better than ever.
Climax goes huge!
Don't miss the nation's largest league competing for the biggest prize in American cricket. The Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship returns June 25th.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
How are you? All set for today? All the best?
Strike round as a funny get set to start the second over for the Thunderbolts.
in the air, and I think it was one bounce there. But what a good collect nonetheless. I think that was streaking away for 4 despite it being Klahani grass.
Oh, absolutely. That was like an absolute bullet that came to the fielder. Yeah, it was Rishi Bhardwaj who did that cleaning up in the covers, short cover area where he's manning the field.
This is good thinking from the batter. Saideep Ganesh wanted to access more gaps, hence using his feet. Also, it suggests that Funny has to be very watchful of the batter till the last moment because there's a lot of movement from the batter.
And already Funny has changed his length in the few balls that he's bowled already. One was a little shorter, the other one, this one, is a bit fuller. He's a wily fox out there. He tries his variations very thoughtfully, and that's keeps the batsman on toes. There's not much that they can do getting under those balls. They have to play the merit of it, and he definitely keeps things under control.
The calls for 2. Would be interesting if they go back for 2. A single's all that's on offer because the throw was already halfway on its way. What we've seen so far in this start compared to yesterday is that the singles and 2s also have a say in the sport.
Absolutely. That's an opportunity gone a-begging. That was a fuller ball outside the off stump, and clearly the batsman did not expect that to happen, mistimed it completely. And I agree with you, singles have a big role to play out here. We saw that yesterday while the chase was on from Blazers towards the end, or when they had lost a few wickets. I think they did it well, just doing the singles when the boundaries were not coming.
Oh, shot.
That's a cheeky one. It's early stages of the game, but no half measures from Saideep. That was a fuller ball on the leg stump, a ramp shot played over the long leg fence. And I think it went all the way for a 6.
Yeah, that's the pace of Funny. Is there any giveaway when the batter wants to play a shot behind the wicket? Saideep Ganesh, oops, the ball. Talked about releases. This one released way too quickly. Saideep Ganesh, he's not scared of the extra pace that Funny has to offer.
No, and we saw that yesterday as well. Yeah. So how's that? He waits for his opportunity, and when the ball is there to attack, he has absolutely no half measures. Once again, not well timed. A bit of misfield out there. Not too clean in their fielding. That ends the over from Funny. Rather eventful one though, and the score is 12 without loss after 2.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
And Seattle Thunderbolts going with the same team from yesterday. No changes. And why would they do any change? They had a lovely start from a batting perspective. They probably would rue a couple of expensive overs, but otherwise they did a fairly competent bowling performance as well, as Akhilesh starts the second over. David White, we saw that yesterday as well. He has been watchful, the captain of Bay Blazers. He can hit big, but he has got the patience to wait for the right ball to go after them.
Loves to hike it over the mid-wicket region mostly. He's keeping it quick here. Akhilesh Podigam, using every inch of his body. He's a tall lad. Still the ball evades him. These are the little battles that you look for.
Absolutely. A single nonetheless. And the score moving up to 13. Saideep on strike as Akhilesh, the minor field adjustment, starts the next ball.
That's in the air, but
That was in the
just away
air.
from the fielder. And it still has enough. Falls just before the boundary rope. That was cut hard. You got to cut hard almost every time.
Absolutely. And that this is again one of the indications that the ball is not coming so well onto the bat. We've already seen a few forced shots, a few mistimed shots, and in this occasion there was a lot of force behind that shot. It was up in the air, but that's through the gap for 4. And this time played up in the, and this is a huge one over the long on for a massive 6 by Saideep.
He's also targeting the straighter boundaries. Here is a man who has a V behind him and in front of him as well. One for the heart, one for the coach.
That came right at us. For a moment, it was a bit of a struggle for survival for us, scampering for our lives.
Don't know what the bat is. I think the commentator is asking for a helmet, yeah? I think we were discussing just before the game of how many laptops you have, and hence, you being the senior, have your laptop out there because insurance matters. Oh, that's a good shot. That's a very good shot. He's just exploring new areas of the ground now. And it's also traveling the distance with a sense of ease. It's a flatter 6. The decision to go cross-batted has also worked for Saideep.
In fact, that was David White, and David, as we mentioned, waits for his opportunity. This was a rank full toss on the leg stump, and no half measures. He just hoiked it. There was no fielders there over the square leg boundary for a 6. The score is at 31 after the end of 3. This was a productive over. 19 runs coming off this one. So talk about sedate start and then sudden acceleration.
So this is the maximum we can go. Yeah.
David White and Saideep, both of them hitting a 6 each in this over, and all of a sudden the run rate has jumped up above 10, and we have a game.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
.31 on the board in just 3 overs. If you look at it honestly, it's been 2 poor deliveries, and of course both of them have been put away. It's been some of the good shots that have been played, which have kept the pressure on the Seattle Thunderbolts. Shadley with the first ball. That wasn't fueled by belief, it was just fueled by excitement.
Anyway, also some of these tactics are to distract the umpire from getting wide. I don't know if that touched anything of the batsman, but certainly it was down the leg side, and they got through with that. If it didn't hit anything, that was a wide that wasn't called.
These tactics never get old, do they?
Absolutely. Oh, that's hammered again. A complete stamp of authority from Saideep. Through the covers, he is finding his gaps at will at this point of time. It was a half volley on the offside, on the off stump, and he didn't hold himself back. It was hammered through the covers for 4. The run rate's just galloping at this point of time for the Blazers.
Yeah, terrific shot. He doesn't want Shadley to get settled. You could see him use his feet right away. They're batting to a plan, and he has nice low hands as well, which allow him to lean into shots of that kind. Even with a single, it's a single that is taking it with so much conviction. Saideep and David.
Great observation there about the low hands. Also, he is crouching on his stance, and that helps him get under the balls, which normally a batsman would not. And a couple of shots that he has hit today, one of the 6 above the long on and the cover boundary 4 that he just hit, were deliveries which otherwise, if you're standing upright, you might defend. But because you're crouching, you're able to get under the ball and hit them through the line. Oh, that's up in the air, flicked towards the square leg. No fielders there, but maybe a minor chance if there was somebody close in there. Adam Crossworth was a little more squarer towards the mid-wicket side, and a little more straighter rather towards the mid-wicket. A single to David White again. He's doing what he does best, feeding Saideep the strike, and when the bad ball comes in, he hammers it too.
No, I had a split-second decision to make whether to go after it. He's cut it through point and gets the desired result. Saideep is thriving on width.
Another bad ball here. Absolute bad ball. Half trekker, sitting up, way outside the off stump. Saideep had a lot of time to see the ball, get himself in the position, and place it between those 2 square infielders in the behind the wicket on the offside for a 4.
This was much better. It was coming in as well. Shadley refrains from the throw. It's just the heat of the moment. A dot ball to end the over. Some sort of a comeback, but Saideep knows that he's done what was required in the over. Collect the boundary and nurdle the singles.
41 for 3. 41 for without loss after 4. The run rate's still above 10, and they're cashing on the power play. As Harmeet Singh brings himself in, he certainly has a lot to think about at this point. He was their pivotal change bowler yesterday. He got things back. He got the first wicket, and always someone that the Thunderbolts look up to when they need a wicket or need to change the momentum of the game. So he brings himself in the 5th over, and let's see if he can have an impact on the state of the game, not just the momentum, but also picking up a wicket or 2 in this over.
He's got to attack. There's no other option. Doesn't have the cushion to be flighting it up on a regular basis. Just 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle. There's a long off lurking, and there is a man just in front of square in the deep. And he will not be in business because that's been hit so very well behind square for 4. What a way to invite the skipper.
It was a good ball, mind you. It was and a good length spot coming into the body of David White. But David played on the back foot and swiveled at the last moment to make the room towards the fine leg boundary for 4.
Could be trouble if it's a direct hit. He's broken the stumps and the finger has gone up. Look like it's the only way to get this man, Saideep, back in the pavilion. It's his own wrongdoing. Hallucinating a single for a man who's hitting 6s and 4s at will.
Once again, it's that man, Harmeet Singh. He may not have bowled a ball to get a batsman run out, but there's inevitably something that happens when he bowls. What an innings by Saideep. He was batting so well. There was no need for that scamper for a single. They were just going so well. They had the run rate under control. It was hit directly to the fielder. So trying to get a run, I would just say that that was a little too overzealous on his part to trying to control. It was an emphatic no from David White as he was trying to make his ground back. It was a clean pick up and throw from the fielder, and the bowler did the rest. So wicket down, and the score is 45 for 1.
Since it's a spinner in operation, he doesn't go too far in this follow through as well. It's easier for him to collect the ball and get as quickly to the stumps as he wants to. Having said that, it's David White who's hit it, and he knows how hard he has hit it as well. For Saideep to start off like that and then realize David White hasn't moved an inch. It's just Saideep's brain fade moment. He's got such a good start. He had to convert it. The team was looking up to him. But it's just one of those days that it turns out to be a flash in the pan. But he's done his job still. If in his contract, in his mind, it was told by the skipper as well that you've got to stay there for the power play and give us a good start, and that'll do. We have the batting prowess to take it forward from there.
Absolutely, and I think he's done his job.
Oh, good ball.
That's Harmeet Singh again. Wonderful ball. That was pitched on the middle and moved ever so slightly outside towards the off stump. And David was foxed on the turn out there. So there was a little bit of turn, although it's the turf, the artificial turf out there, but still is getting a lot of turn there.
Just get a feeling that Harmeet has got a hang of what the pitch has to offer. He's deliberately leaving it slower. We've talked about the angle of release as well yesterday. Now he's bringing all that into play in the first over itself. Simple. Almost a replica of the previous delivery, but no, it's not a replay. It's just Harmeet being awesome as always, in just the right areas.
To make the batsman reach out to those balls. He's got 3/4 length that he bowls on this wicket and alters his pace.
Oh, good ball again.
He's a massively experienced bowler. And except for that first ball that was all about David White's improvisation, that was an over that almost seemed like every delivery would do something. So a bit of brain fade moment, like you mentioned, costed Blazers an important wicket, but that also brings Mark Dayal to the crease. Mark Dayal, anybody who's seen the game yesterday or followed the game yesterday, single-handedly changed the entire complexion of the game. 19 balls with a 50-plus score. He was hitting the ball long, hard, across all parts of the ground, and practically all the bowlers came under his attack. So it would be important to see how it goes here. In fact, one thing I want to talk about the conditions. When we were discussing yesterday, we did talk about that the morning time frame of the game would have a different impact on the ball and the conditions. Sometimes the sprinklers around this turf waters, and it keeps a little bit of moisture in the turf, and that helps the spinners to grip it. So probably the home team knew that when they won the toss, they opted to bowl because they wanted to use the moisture into their favor, and quite visibly, Harmeet got that advantage in that over.
Driven to the fielder on that occasion, Adam. Would Mark just continue from where he left off yesterday? Or is, as they say, cricket is something that teaches you that every day is a new day. Just get a feeling from that shot, getting it from the middle of the bat, playing one of the most audacious shots as well, that he has come out with a clear mind, and that is to play his natural game and not look at what the scorecard has to offer. Shot.
All right, on call. Like I just mentioned, it's continuing from yesterday. A simple, clear, sweet follow through on the front, reaching with, putting his hands out there. It's just a good hand-eye coordination, extension of the hands, the ball meeting the bat, sweet timing. The ball sails over the long off boundary for 6. Magnificent.
Such a good shot, just a touch full, and as easy as it gets for Mark Dayal with mid-off in place. David White could have got a taste of his own medicine.
One of the things that happens when you bat first is you're not chasing, and sometimes the chase can bring that little intensity and intention to go after with certain aggression, certain degree of momentum. So yesterday was that for Mark Dayal, but he looks like that took the outside edge with dropped shot of Andreas Gauss. Clearly an opportunity, but again, Shadley had bowled a slower ball. That meant the ball dropped short of the wicket keeper.
It's the length as well. It's the length as well that has troubled the shoulder of the bat of Mark Dayal. Sometimes I feel that Shadley will have to have a countersign with the keeper that it's going to be a slower delivery. Come slightly up. In case the edge is induced, your hands are in the right position, the ball lands into your hands right away. Shadley is mixing it up nicely. Wants that single, even though he's hit it straight to Jagrup. Single will be complete due to a little fumble. Had there been a clean collect, could have been half a chance, you feel, or still would have required a direct hit because Shadley was way forward in his follow-through to come and collect it in time.
Yeah, there could have been an opportunity. The shot was played on the grass, so it took some time to reach a group. And and that gave enough time for the batsman to cross for a single. On that ball that was that took the outside edge, I don't know how much of that was working on Andrea's mind. Those two buys and leg buys, that extras that went yesterday, because he's standing a little deeper today. He was standing a little up for Shadley yesterday, but he's standing a little behind. Probably that those extras are working on his mind, that he might have costed the game. So he wanted to be sure and probably a little ahead. If he was standing a little up, he might have got a catch there. It was a key wicket for Thunderbolt.
Excellent analysis, because when you lose a game, you go back to the drawing board and look at this 1%ers, and this definitely falls under that category.
Absolutely. 52 for 1 after 6 overs. Bowling figures: Akhilesh Bodugam 2 overs 23, Fani Simadri 1 over 8, Shadley 2 overs 17, Harmeet Singh 1 over 4, and he created an opportunity. And it's going to be Akhilesh this time for this third over.
Now, what do you feel about the captaincy here from Harmeet? He's thrown it to Akhilesh and brought himself off.
Clearly knows the left-hand spin is the way to go here, but he also knows his own overs is very critical. He has to use them as gold dust. So he's using the right arm off spin because he's taking the ball away from the left-hander here. So he will have, as a left arm off spin, a left-arm spinner, he would have probably played into the hands of Mark Dayal. So he's taking the ball away with Akhilesh right now. It's a gamble. Akhilesh probably is a little low in confidence after that over that he was smacked for runs all over. But a good captaincy here, backing up your player who's low on confidence against a batsman who is up in confidence, to go out there and make an impact. Fantastic.
Just marginal. That length, if you can pull that in front a little bit, that's when David would feel the need to slightly extend his reach and look for that drive. For the moment, it's becoming easier for him, and Akhilesh is not slowing things down either. It's coming onto the bat nicely. Now that little battle begins. Lefty on strike. Shadley is hanging back in the long gone position, so that cannot be a catch. Would be another easy single.
Once again, it was a ball from a spinner that didn't come, that wasn't easy to pick up and a hit for a big shot. It took some force from Dayal to get it to the fielder.
Oh, good ball. Good ball.
It was bowled at a good length. That's one. Just pushed towards the mid-on. Jagu Raina comes up from the boundary, fields the ball. I think there is a plan out here from Harmeet to get Akhilesh's over done quickly before the. But having said that, that was a hit-me delivery out there. As I said, half-trekker coming onto the leg stump of Dayal. He's not going to miss any of those. He's watching this ball like a massive football right now.
The fact that his eyes went agog immediately as it was pitch shot, and despite a fielder lurking in the deep backward square leg position, was able to get that ball way above his head, tells you that how much of confidence he's translating from the previous innings of his into this one. Mark Dayal is such an asset to any side.
It was that tentativeness that was working on his mind, because it almost seemed like, what if I can get, sometimes his thoughts enter the bowler's minds, what if I get hit for a boundary in the last ball and they commit to that condition. he had a very good over going, just gave away the initiative towards the last ball.
Yeah, with only singles and that too scored to long on and long off position, looked like he was going for the damage control option. But one poor delivery just drastically changes the equation completely. Now Mark Dayal's pushing White. Mark Dayal wants to farm the strike. White's quite content playing second fiddle because it's not like Dayal's struggling. He is up and running, scoring boundaries at will. Is that the plan then? Let captain stay there and play the longer innings and be the anchor? Saideep, Mark Dayal, no matter who comes in, bat around him?
That could be a good plan though, because David looks like a man with an absolute ice running through his veins. He's not giving into the conditions. Oh, that
had to be stopped. What should have been a dot ball has been converted into two just because it was hit so hard.
Clearly, Harmeet's shriek of frustration kind of underscoring the fact that the last thing they need is to give free runs to the opposition. Wonderful ball there. Again, outside the off stump, slightly looped up. The ball pitches and skids through. As the batsman goes for a square, there's always a chance of getting the outside edge. Similar ball this time. A batsman connects those two fielders that Harmeet has, whether it's to a left-hander or right-hander, he's always got those true square infielders in the shorter gully third man. And that's where there was a misfield 2 deliveries back. What could have been a dot ball again. It was 2 easy runs. This time it was fielded cleanly.
Yeah, we'll watch it go this time. It's a good leave. Hamid's got to reload. A run added to the tally without a ball being counted. He's hit that shot with such precision. This time towards the left to the fielder at backward point. And gets 2 for the taking. It's 2 good runs indeed. The audacity to play that shot despite 2 fielders just for that shot. One behind square. One at backward point, one at conventional point, still is able to get it through the gap.
And that's the plan that Harmeet's working on. He's not giving anything on the offside, bowling it wide off the off stump, and making him to cut, hoping that one would lob up in the air, and there are fielders lurking in there. That's the plan that he's working on. That's a sedate single at the end, and that ends the over number 8. I would say considering the conditions right now, it was a wonderful over bowled, 69 for 1 after 8.
Hey, Lucia, any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
Wicket down. The initiative rests with the Blazers. Harmeet has two overs done. He's probably the only bowler who's looked to cause some degree of flutter in the opposition. They will have to quickly find out another bowler who can do the same and back Harmeet's plans here.
Yeah, at least a bowler who can keep it tight here so that the other can reap the rewards of wickets.
You know, one of the things I've always heard some of the captains, especially the great MS Dhoni's, talk about is when a bowler comes to the top of his mark, it is important for them to have a plan and then keep that plan intact irrespective of what the batsman is wanting to do and go ahead there and execute. And sometimes it's the midway through, whether it's a spinner or a faster bowler, when they start running in and they see some little indications from the batsman, they change their plans. And that's the time they play into the hands of the batsman. We saw that happen a couple of times yesterday when I was thinking about the game yesterday evening. I thought a couple of times, the 3 good balls and then a couple of them going for boundaries. They were playing into the hands of the batsman.
It's been a long, long time since you've seen such a solid defense. It's got such a relaxed approach there, Akhilesh. This one lobbed up. Extra bit of bounce as well. That bite you were talking about from the wicket, he's getting that too. Marginal turn, not much, but enough to trouble the batter.
And it's bringing his height into play out here. He's got a good height, and as for off spinner, always the height is a great advantage.
That's his break free shot, isn't it? A good dive by Rishi. Still, the single is definitely on. That's his pressure release shot as far as Dayal is concerned. Moves away, hits it, and he's such a good cutter of the ball.
He's a very good player of the faster ball, and he's a good captaincy here. Harmeet not giving him any faster ball. The moment he walked in, he's brought in himself and Akhilesh onto the attack. He scored majority of his runs yesterday from the faster bowlers, hitting them at will to all parts of the ground. So at this point, he's not giving him pace. Wonderful captaincy here. And Akhilesh is, in spite of one poor over, he's standing up to the challenge. Now, we've got to see if he can finish it off well, because usually it's the last couple of balls where he loosens things up.
That's it really well. That's it really straight too. Into the side screen, just in front of the boundary. It bounces so far. It's chosen a very, very safe area. Long on and long off, just looked at each other for 2 seconds.
And that's the thing that we were talking about. Akhilesh's ability to keep it quiet in the last couple of balls of the over. He bowls the first few balls very well and then somehow gets away with the plans. Now once again, it's a loose ball, absolute half-trekker on the leg stump. Mark Dayal isn't going to miss any of those. That's an absolute hit-me delivery. Meat and drink for him.
Every time it's the last balls yielding the sixes. Mark Dayal is almost expecting the shorter delivery now. I think Akhilesh was sort of searching for that. Mark Dayal shuffled towards him, but that didn't happen at all. Stayed back in such calmness, swivels it away for 6. 10 runs of the last 2 balls collected. Score moves on to 81 for 1. It is a very strong start after 9 overs for the East Bay Blazers.
Disappointing, really, as a captain, Harmeet. I saw him yesterday throwing his hands were on his hip. He was egging his bowlers to back themselves. So when you build the over so well, 4 balls, and you bowl so well at the right length, and the batsmen are playing defensive, to let the pressure go and give some big runs towards the last couple of balls is undoing the entire good work that they have done so far. And Bay Blazers, they are not worried. They're already getting runs at a rate of 8 to 10 runs an over right now. So they have got it all covered. This is a solid foundation. 81 for 1 after 9 overs, 11 to go. With a batting lineup of that kind, it is certainly going to make a huge, huge difference. Funny Simadri back for his second over, gave 8 runs to the first one. It was a good ball. And as you see here, Andreas is standing up to the stumps. And looking at the way the wicket is gripping, we will see a lot of cutters from Funny. And with Andreas standing up to the stumps, he will have to concentrate hard not to let anything slip by to give some free runs out here. Once again, absolute flashing of a work by Andreas. He's got solid confidence in collecting the ball from Funny and whipping the stumps. We saw one very close one go against them. It wasn't given by the umpire yesterday. The batsman was in. Even now, this one, the batsman didn't leave his crease. But an absolutely flashy piece of work from Andreas.
Wanted to be cheeky. This was a slower delivery as well that he picked up. Straight to the fielder, who at one moment would be called short third man. But due to the short selection, would you call him short fine leg? Quite quickly turning into a left-hander there. David now is starting to unfurl his shots. He's not hitting the gap yet, but the intention's there. Execution looks like it's just a matter of time. Moving across. Is he trapped in front? Up goes the finger. While Mark Dayal was absorbed in stealing a run, he realizes the batter who's tried to hit it is back in the pavilion in moments. Fani provides the breakthrough. The partnership is broken.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. He changed his line, came from the other side of the wicket, and the only question would be, was it pitching outside the leg stump? Of course, the umpire didn't think so, because the batsman was playing for a cutter. The ball was a straighter one. Pitched on the line, went across straight into the middle of the middle stump, caught plumb in front of the wicket. Second wicket gone for Bay Blazers at the right time, absolutely. David White, he stayed there, gave a lot of steady support to both the openers and the number 3 batter. 17 of 21. May not be happy with the strike rate though, but he did his job as a captain, just to provide solidity from the other side. 81 for 2 after 9.4. As we have the next batsman walking in for Bay Blazers, Angelo Pereira. He played a handy hand yesterday at the bat. Also did bowled some wonderful overs as a bowler. So a lot of good all-rounders in the side of Bay Blazers here.
He's been given a different script today. But very interesting to see Mark Dayal's approach as well now that the captain's back in the pavilion. While the duties were such that the captain bats around for a longer time, Mark Dayal takes the initiative to go for the big shots. It was working. Once the tables turned, the captain was struggling to get it in the right areas. He was hitting the balls from the middle of the bat, but straight to the fielders. Suddenly it looked like there's something had to give.
He missed 2 cut shots, tried a ramp shot, a switch hit, didn't work. Tried something on the leg side, got out. That was a wicket that was suffocated out of the batsman. Clearly David White was feeling the pressure. His own strike rate wasn't good. He wanted something to happen. Fani Simadri expected that, changed his line a little bit on the 4th ball. And David, trying to be a little more enterprising, lost his wicket. Now that's that elusive last ball that we've been seeing has been producing the maximum runs for Bay Blazers. It's been an excellent over so far, just a run and a wicket.
Oh, good delivery. He's also judging where exactly is the batter standing, how much of the crease is he using. It's good to end the over with a dot ball. Seattle Thunderbolts have got some momentum going with that wicket falling in the over. A very successful one for the men in pink at the halfway stage.
It is 82 for 2. At the halfway stage, a quick call out to our sponsors for Seattle Thunderbolts for this season. The diamond sponsors, UST, Platinum, City University of Seattle, and the gold sponsors, Apna Bazaar, Super, B-Talent, Dream Vision. Thank you for your support as Seattle Thunderbolts campaign for this year started yesterday. And the team would be hoping to make it better than the 7 wins that they acquired last year. Change in bowling. We have a new bowler. It's Rishi Bhardwaj.
Didn't get to bowl yesterday. The captain decides it's time for some spin again. Rishit Bharadwaj, he's asking for a field change here. The captain obliges. Strengthening the offside field for the left-hander. Harmeet moves into the covers position. 2 men for the cut shot there. 1 conventional point. 1 shot third man, who's slightly squarer. All that effort for that offside field being set is quietly nudged away towards the leg side, where there's more real estate to cover. Everyone is guarding the boundary rope on the leg side when the lefty is batting.
That's the impact of Mark Dayal, right? And he has been phenomenal finding the boundary. So Harmeet won't mind giving singles at this point and getting off the strike. That's
direct hit, could be trouble, almost.
No problem. That was again clearly. It shows Mark is egging to go back to the strike and have some impact here. That was a desperate run, directly hit to Adam Crossweight. He has a deceptively fast throw that comes in quickly.
The moment Rashid Bharadwaj decides to put some more pace on it, the batter seems to be playing with soft hands, and single is being taken with ease in the end. Ball's not leaving the 30-yard circle, the ball's not leaving the pitch sometimes, and still singles are being possible. This tells you how quick they are between the wickets. That didn't rise as much. Mark wants that bounce to go for the clean swivel.
For a non-regular bowler, I would consider him, the fact that he didn't bowl yesterday, Rishi, is probably not the regular option. For someone to be brought here for an over, he's probably done very well this over, giving 3 singles. An afterthought there, pulling himself out of the action. Needed a little bit of change in the field. It's that last ball, isn't it? The bats, even the bowlers, it's on their mind, clearly. They've done the hard work of keeping the opposition to just 3 runs.
We'll have to settle with a single. It's a good over from Rishi's perspective.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
The leadership think tank, which also includes Adam Crossweight. Time to time they get together to think what could be their next plan of action. Harmeet clearly is going for some sort of a kill because he's had 2 good overs from the other side, and he would be happy that they've been able to keep the Bay Blazers under check, even with Mark Dayal at the crease.
That was always going to be a single of the first ball as far as the righty is concerned. That's all he was looking for. Now Mark Dayal versus Captain Harmeet. Who's going to get one up? Harmeet, would he be flighting it up a little bit because he knows he has a protection in the deep? Or would he think, let's not flight it at all for Mark Dayal because he's not treating fielders as a part of this game, Mark Dayal, when he's hitting towards the leg side? He's aiming for the parking lot more often.
There was one ball last over where he almost went for the shot and suddenly the ball moved, pitched up and came up a little towards him. And so he had to hold the shot towards the mid-wicket. And this time he goes for a big shot. That's on the boundary line. Shadley and Shalkwick. He tried a one-handed effort on the boundary line to hold the catch. It even got stuck in his hand, but The momentum had taken him across the boundary line, so that's a 6, but it was an amazing attempt. I wish that was captured on the camera. It was one of the wonderful fielding exploits that Chadley was able to pull off. Almost.
A terrific attempt indeed. It had to come off with very less time. He had to time the jump and did so very well. Calculated the trajectory of the ball, one-handed effort. One moment went for the catch, quite another wanted to keep it in play as he understood that the body and the balance was a little off. He was going to fall beyond the rope. But in the end, the ball eventually fell beyond the rope. Oh, this one's going to be gone. Andres Gauss thinks so. Andres Gauss thinks so. The finger's also gone up. It's been a while. It took a while for the umpire to process this one as he eventually raises the finger. Mark Dayal's got to trudge back to the pavilion. It's a huge moment in the game. If not caught in the deep, it's induced the edge. He's induced the edge, and Andres Gauss has done the rest.
And it's that man, Harmeet Singh. Really, he had a plan right from the beginning, bowling wide of the off stump.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Bowling didn't give any room outside the off stump, probably a couple of misfields here and there, but then eventually got his man through his outside edge. Wonderful, wonderful captaincy and wonderful execution of his plans. Truly a captain's moment out here. It's always fascinating to see such plays within the plays, and Harmeet as an expert. We saw that last year as well. When things got away from him, he would work out a plan and be relentless at it, eventually making something happen. And here he went across to the key batsman from the opposition, Mark Dayal, and eventually got his wicket. A big moment, as you said, Suhas. 94 for 3, 11.3 overs.
Yeah, the next 2 overs are going to be very crucial for both the sides, as that will dictate momentum. And we've so very often seen that this game's all about momentum towards the end. Fielder at deep backward square leg's been stationed, so that'll be a single, but what he does in the bargain is open his account.
Gurbaksh Singh Khaira, he is one of the key names from the batting perspective for A Blazers. Had a good season last year. He had a quiet outing yesterday, scoring 6. That's the end of the over. It was a successful one at that. 12 overs gone, 95 for 3. They're scoring at a rate of under 8 now. So clearly Thunderbolts have pulled things back significantly, and with Mark Dayal gone, they should be hoping to capitalize on this kind of stuff. So Has, one of the things I would like your opinion on is yesterday they had a similar kind of moment. Yeah. A few overs between the, say, 9th to 15th over, they got a few wickets, but let the game pass away. How do you read this one?
As I said, these 2 overs would dictate the momentum, and that's what will eventually dictate the game as well. As far as Seattle Thunderbolts are concerned, they've got to look for dot balls here. Just get a feeling, if you look for dot balls, the wickets will follow. If you look for a wicket ball and hence in that effort make a mistake, and it becomes a poor delivery, and one good shot is all that a batsman of Gurbaksh Singh Khaira's caliber requires to get going.
Another new bowling option. Harmeet Singh bringing on spinners one after the other. This is Rahul Singh, and he's probably a wrist spinner out here. Probably will go with a few leg breaks.
He started off well. He started off right on the money. It's a very good delivery first up. Usually you see that the first initial part of the over is the batter tries to attack the most because he wants momentum. Well, no, the single's not there. 2 dot balls strung together. This is proving to be a good change in bowling. And the damage control aspect of it is also working. 2 dot balls. It's the dot balls which will eventually give way to wickets.
Flighting the ball above the eye line of the batsman. Oh, that's a wonderful ball there. Flighted once again. Drew the batsman out there. Classic leg spinner's delivery. And the ball skids after pitching the wicket keeper. The batsman is beaten. Clearly a lot on his mind. Angelo Pereira. No, it's Gurbuxs. He's got a lot on his mind right now. The pressure building. They obviously have to get up the ante right now. The 100 is not yet on the board. It's the 13th over.
Half an over done and dusted with nothing given away. Moves across, goes for the big shot, gets it cleanly. A much needed 6 that will win the pressure. 100 comes up as well.
Something had to give. Something had to give. We were anticipating that, and it had given in the favor of the batsman. Gurbuxs this time bending his knee, getting down and playing a sweep shot up in the air over square leg for a 6. I would say that was a bit of a getting out of a jail shot. And this time, straight in front of the wicket umpire, the finger goes up, and the plan has worked for Harmeet and Rahul. They have been keeping the batsman quiet, and so Gurbuxs was trying something out of the ordinary, which was playing the ball cross on the leg side through a sweep shot. He got a 6, but this time completely beaten in front of the stumps. Leg before, no questions whatsoever from the umpire's perspective. Without any hesitation, the finger goes up, and it's the 4th wicket down for the Bay Blazers. Seattle Thunderbolts clearly making a statement here, and they are back in the game, if at all they were out of it at any point of time.
He's got a very big heart as well. Rahul Singh, the idea to slow it down after being hit for a 6, induce the same shot out of the batter and get the better of him. This is excellent bowling and wonderful captaincy indeed to persist with him, give him the confidence after being hit for a biggie as well.
Fantastic captaincy. You love to see a plan being worked out, and here Harmeet Singh working that plan with his bowlers, and they have executed flawlessly. Spinners have come in. There's clearly something for the spinners. We spoke about it earlier today. There's clearly something, and the home team has read the conditions very well. They won the toss. They put themselves in. They gave away some runs in the initial stages, but have kept the pressures on. Believed their own abilities. A few loose deliveries here and there, but the last 3 or 4 overs have been flawless. They've not been giving. They've cut down on their loose balls. The batsmen have had to work hard to get some of those boundaries, and that have created options for Thunderbolts to capitalize on.
Yeah, well assessed there. Sheila, what's to believe that the game's also getting into a situation for the next 2 overs. The captain's looking around and asking, can anyone bowl spin? Put your hand up. I'd be very surprised if he brings Shadley back again. That's after having gotten a wicket in this over. Just get a feeling, 1 more over of spin, perhaps 2 more, and then the Pacers can take it forward from there. Rahul Singh in search of his 2nd. Almost got it there. Oh, he's not picking him. Now that opens up a different book altogether.
That's turn. That's prolific turn out there. The batsman was beaten, all ends up. Absolutely no clue where the ball went after pitching. 13 done, 101 for 4. The new batsman in is Vikash Mohan. He had a wonderful outing yesterday. Kept his cool, played some big shots, but most importantly saw his team through. But this is a completely different kettle of fish today. And Harmeet Singh has no qualms whatsoever bringing and continuing with his spinners as he brings back Rishi Bharadwaj for a 2nd over this time. Rishi gave just 5 runs for the first over. Gold dust. Rahul Singh 6 runs in the first over and a wicket.
Catcher is the call. Almost did. Had just enough fuel to reach the fence and beyond. Only if the fielder were a couple of inches taller. Would have got his fingertips to it with that jump.
Angelo Pereira there. This is the thing. And this is a big bit of a punt out here by Thunderbolts. They are asking Bay Blazers to make most of their runs by taking risks, in the process opening their chances for losing the wickets. Once again, this was the ball that came slower onto the bat. It was a mindless hoik, if I can just describe that shot. It took the under edge, trickled towards the short mid wicket as Raina picks it up. But that's the way they're asking Bay Blazer to go take the risk and score their runs. If it comes off, well enough. If it does not, then we have either a dot ball or a wicket.
I think the mistake from Rishi's point of view would be, for that 6 especially, was the fact that he was bowling it too much on the leg side. Just became easier for Angelo to go forward with that hoik. If it's slightly outside off, make him reach. Not this much though. Not this much. Then you also run the opportunity of inducing the top edge. Quietly nudged away, and they're looking for a single only. Angelo was quite content with the single now that he finds himself at the striking end. Just get a feeling he'll change his guard. There you go. He wants to target the straighter boundaries now, because he's seen it from the non-strikers end that Rishi is trying to keep it outside off.
We're both Vikas and Angelo targeting that vacant shorter region in the leg side, and Rishi has assessed that condition pretty well. He's keeping it outside the off stump, so the best they could do is potentially go outside the off stump and nudge it towards that vacant real estate on the leg side to pick up singles, and they won't mind singles. And they've got a packed offside area, so any cut shot played on a wide outside the off stump ball would just yield a single again. So a good plan worked out there. That's again the Thunderbolt bowlers asking the batsmen to manufacture shots. In the process, the risk percentage being high. That's the end of the 13th over. And the score, beg your pardon, so end of the 14th over, and the score is 112 for 4. Vikas Mohan is that kind of a guy. Yesterday, as a batsman, he bides his time, waits for the ball to come into his arc to play the big shot. Now on strike, as Rahul Singh comes back for his second over. 11 runs from the previous over from Rishi Bhardwaj. Once again outside the off stump. It was slightly short, coming up, enough space for Vikas to rock back and play towards the deep point area. But then again, that's just a single. And Harmeet is very clear he's okay by giving singles as long as they're not feeding through easy boundaries to the opposition. It's always fascinating to see a leg spinner bowl. Incredible to see bowled over. The wrist spinners, they're having so much impact in this format of the game, T20.
Yes.
That was an absolute half over-pitched ball outside the off stump. Easy pickings for Angelo.
This shot was on. It's something that we predicted in the previous over. It's eventually come by. He had to target the straighter boundaries as his favorite area in the deep mid-wicket region has been plugged. This one's lesser risk, but the same result. A much-needed dot ball as far as Rahul Singh is concerned.
It would be a missed opportunity on my book. It was a full toss. could have placed either side of the bowler. There was nobody behind the bowler at this point. Once again, the single to the point. That's the go-to plan. Pitch it outside the off stump, keep it there, and there is a army of fielders up there. Two short fielders behind the wicket, and Harmeet Singh lurking around the point area. That was the one that came the other way from the leg spinner. Played defensively back, keeping the batsman quiet. Probably a big shot around the corner here, or something of more risk.
And end of another mixed bag of an over. Angelo would feel good after that boundary. Harmeet would feel fine after the fact that only a boundary was conceded, not much.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Funny, Samadri comes back into attack, so the experiment with spinners working well as Harmeet eked out the 5th bowler overs from Rishi and Rahul and gets back to his regular bowlers as Funny Samadri comes back for his 3rd. A single played, just flicking it down towards the square leg area. The bowler does the job as all the fielders on the leg side are on the boundary line. Nobody closing.
Again, very good analysis. Now that there's nobody close in, because he knows Angelo's got a taste of what a 6 is like. He knows what a boundary is like. Will have to go for the big shots. Understands that the team's also looking up to him more than Vikas Mohan. Vikas Mohan is very strong straight down the ground. We've seen that he loves to back away as well to get that ball in that region. This time it's straight to the fielder. Adam Crosswade gets to it very quickly. The throw is dispatched within no time. Now there's a lot of action to unpack here. This game's getting into a zone where you could see the batter is feeling a little itchy to score the runs, where the ball is trying to play the waiting game by bowling in the right areas. Battle within a battle, Sheel.
Clearly, right on cue, as you mentioned. The batsmen were ready for something short, something that could be in their arc for hittable option. And Vikas Mohan rocks back and bludgeons it over mid-wicket for a 6. Funny would have a lot to think about as he looks to close this over out, but it's a good score at this point, 127 for Bay Blazers. Once again, off cutter there. The batsman rocks back and pushes it towards mid-wicket. Like I said, every fielder is in the boundary, and a single is always an option here. A dot ball, an absolute gold dust, that comes like a leap year at this point of time. This time just trickled it towards deep square leg fence. A single picked up. That's the end of the over. 16 gone, 129 for 4. 129 for 4 after 16 as Harmeet Singh comes back for his last over. Without doubt, this would be the last spin that Thunderbolt bowls this over, this match.
Good shot.
That was just pushed towards those two fielders that have been a standard staple for Seattle Thunderbolts through the game today, having two short squarer. To a plan, they wanted to bowl majority of the balls outside the off stump so that they're not giving much of room for batsmen to go on the leg side. They hurt quite a bit, giving a few easy boundaries.
Bigger. That's because the intentions go for the big shot inside out on that occasion, but it's not getting it from the best part of the bat there because Angelo's looked more solid. Angelo, someone's got a clearer mind as well. He's keeping it simple, either go straight or hike it over the mid-wicket region. Harmeet decides to take a little bit more time. Is that again a mind game? Angelo is called for 2, but only a single would be able to be. I think only a single would be achieved, and there it is. Just get a feeling that Harmeet's also wanting to slow things down deliberately. He's just making the batters wait for that boundary ball more and more. And with every passing second, that itchiness for a boundary grows. He's gone for that shot. Has he got enough? Just enough. First poor delivery in the over and dispatched. That's the margin of error. That's the quality of cricket you get.
Harmeet Singh clearly unhappy with his own performance here. Shout of anguish. This time back to his outside the off-stump gig. And that produces a dot ball again. That's the plan. Whenever they have stuck to that plan, it has yielded them better results. Anything other than that, they've paid a big price.
They'll stick with a single there, the batters, and that is a plenty. They know they've got the 6 in the over. This has turned out to be a terrific over for the East Bay Blazers. 17 overs gone, 139 for 4. They've got to move on with 6 wickets in hand. 3 more overs to go. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Totally forgot. Totally forgot.
Three overs to go, and it would be Shadley, who's got 2 more to go, and Funny, who's got 1 more to go. Probably they would try and finish it off. 139 for Bay Blazers out here. A good launch pad for them to accelerate from here. No half measures. Vikash Mohan once again a full toss on the leg side, and he waits and times it, holds his shape, and a wonderful time over the cow corner for 6. The last thing you would hope is a full toss, a rank full toss, giving the batsman all the width and room to come under it and Hoik over mid-wicket. Outside the off-stump this time. Played it in the air, over the short cover. Harmeet runs back. Does the cleanup and a couple of runs to Bikash Mohan. His intentions are loud and clear. That said, those two deliveries at best could be termed as feeders. Now this is offside off stump again. Lifted in the air. Bikash Mohan is not holding back anything at this point. He's going after all the balls. And this was a slightly fuller, a little over-pitched. He had it in control. Lifted over Harmeet. And before Akhilesh could pick up and throw it back, 2 more runs.
He's got it in the gap, just about. Oh, fantastic fielding in the deep. Puts in the dive, runs towards his right, about 10 yards to get there. Had to be a clean pick-up and throw, and in one swift action. This is terrific fielding indeed.
Avdesh Rai. Avdesh Rai has been electric throughout the day today.
150 had come up with that single, now 151. Angelo is setting up for a big finish. Yesterday we realized 178 wasn't enough on this track, as the East Bay Blazers got there with almost an over to spare. 150 achieved already. Well, that's a magnificent hit. It's straight down the ground as well. Travels the distance. 6 all the way. The best place to hit a shot when a long on and long off are lurking is still straight down the ground. Chandeliers in length. The batter doesn't miss out on it.
18 done, 157 for 4.
And 57 for 4. Finding to bowl the 19th. That did too much. Keeper couldn't get to it either. It's one of those things that you sign up for with extra pace. If the keeper misses it, it goes for 4.
That's exactly what has been working on Andreas' mind since morning today, because there were a couple of letting goes that happened yesterday. And we've seen a few tentative takes today. It was working on mine, and eventually one goes by, even today. So, like I just mentioned to us, that's the last thing that a bowling team would want at this point. Free runs to be given to the opposition. Already they're under the pump. And any additional freebies like that adds to the pressure overall.
Oh, driven beautifully in the gap. He's called for 2. He can get more. He'll get 4. He's picking the bat. He's picking the gap wonderfully well. There was Akhilesh Bodhagam at the edge of the circle it covers. If a tall, lanky Akhilesh could not get to it, you understand how good he was with placement there. Terrific hit for 4.
These two are doing it so well. Angelo Pereira, 31 of 20. 3 boundaries and a 6. Vikash Mohan, 37 of 20, 4 sixes. He's doing what Mark Dayal did yesterday.
This could be taken. Avdesh under it and completes the catch. Fani has the last laugh. Still the big shot had to be attempted. It's Angelo who departs, but he's played his part in this game.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Just the way the whole plan was worked out. It was clear right from the word go that the batsmen are going to go after everything. But this was a ball that was held back a little, again an off cutter. So the batsman had to go through with the shot. It lobbed up. But what was brilliant was Avdesh Rai. As we mentioned, he's been electric. He's covering that leg side field today with much aplomb. He's been lurking around like a night rider there. And he didn't make any mistake. The sun is right above the head. It wasn't easy catching that ball. Not to mention the heat on the ground and the heat of the situation. He keeps a cool head, and Thunderbolts are able to take a wicket at this point. It won't worry too much the Bay Blazers, because for them, anyone who comes in would just go on a launch pad for the 6th gear straight away. Srinivas Mohan is the new batsman. He was the only change between the two teams today. Came in place of Navanpreet Brar.
He's been given a game, but what my research says about Srini, as they call him, Srinivas, is that he's a complete team man. The two kinds of players, isn't it? One who waits for his opportunity and then decides, all right, I've got one, let me play for myself a little. And there's another who's his team first all the time. The opportunities will come by. Let's reconcile our personal expectations with what the team wants, and that is the best way to play cricket. Would love to know your thoughts on that, Sheel.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with that, because especially in these kind of leagues where a bunch of players go in, it's a bit of the course decides what sort of horses are going to play. Although, pardon my analogy on there, but again, players have to be willing and ready to play for the cause more than the self, because they're part of those 15 because they belong there. Yeah. So they don't need to really think about the individual side of it. And 20 overs doesn't give too much for you to go out there and build personal equity as much as the situational impact. Yeah. So good to know that he's a player of that kind, puts the situation and the team first. And this situation is a great one for him to come in with about 8 balls to go. The team would benefit. Something what Avdesh Rai did yesterday. Coming in just 4 balls remaining, he just went bang, bang, bang without thinking much.
Despite a dive towards the right by Adam, the ball will race away to the fence in the covers region. There was a second line of defense, but by the time the sweeper could get to it, it was hit so well that Klahani grass couldn't do much.
And that's the end of the over. 19 gone, 170 for 5.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Let's see.
What's your break plans? Going for any conversation, interview?
No. I'll go to the
Okay.
That is my break. By the
problem.
time you return, it's done. You want any conversation? You can
No.
We
I just
set this
do a roundup of the innings. That's it. That starts the last over now, 20th, as Shadley comes back to finish things off. Vikash Mohan on strike.
Is the same score on the card, Sheel? You were discussing that. A full toss. He's missed out on it. Didn't get the best part of the bat on it. Avdesh this time botches it up. Was the simpler of the two. And he's furious with himself. He's done the cleanup work though. Gets the throw in at the right time. That's an opportunity gone begging. Shadley would believe robbed of a wicket.
Did all the hard work of Desh. Ran about 8 to 10 yards and then got himself positioned. The ball was there. Maybe the sun created a little bit of a zone of disbelief. Lost the catch, lost his glasses as well.
Big swing and a miss. Shadley being his best during the death.
The outside the off stump. The outside the off stump plan I'm really impressed that every time they have stuck to that plan, it has yielded them rich dividends in terms of dot balls or even wickets.
Harmeet in the deep will watch it fly over, just over him despite a full stretch. A six that is absolutely earned by the batter, taking the fielder on and taking Shadley on. They've got to go at every single ball. It's the final over. They have to maximize the score.
A little too straight on the ball. Every time the ball has been a little more straighter on the stumps, the batsmen have exercised their arms to play it straighter down the wicket and scored a lot of runs.
Now he's been too full this time around as well. Will it be taken? It is. It's a flat catch. Harmeet Singh, the captain, completes it. There are no high fives, no one's converging. They just stayed put as the men in pink understand that it's a matter of couple of more balls.
Once again, Suhas just a little bit outside the off stump. The previous ball was too straighter on the off stump, picked up over the bowler for a six. This time slightly outside, played a little square straight to the fielder. Again, that outside the off stump plan, I'm so impressed with the way they have. Only thing, if they could have stuck to that plan a little more, the total could have been a slightly lesser, maybe 150, 160, but I mean a little more controllable score. That said, we are exactly at the score of yesterday, 178. As Nawaz Khan makes his way to the wicket as a new batsman. Two new batters at the crease now.
A slower delivery. Still throws his bat at it. It's in the gap. He's called for two. Two would be troublesome. Throw was at the wrong end. And very, very long as well. Second run's been completed. There have been more drama. Had the throw been at the non-striker's end, I feel.
True. He trusted the slower. Nawaz was running as a non-striker. He was running faster. So he trusted the wicketkeeper's gloves. But this throw was wayward. Way above Andreas. Final ball, 180 for 6.
No, wanted to move across. Will get a single, and a single shall suffice, is what the men in yellow would believe. The East Bay Blazers get 181. It's a good score. And if learnings from the previous game could be applied, then 181 requires some decent bowling in the middle overs especially, to maximize it and make it look like 190 plus. Harmeet and co would believe that 182 is absolutely achievable on a track which is assisting the spinners a little, but the ball's coming onto the bat wonderfully well when the pacers are in operation. It is going to be some contest that we have on our hands, Sheel.
Fantastic. I think there was a good overall, if you look back at that innings, there was a lot of good moments from both the teams. But at the end, the Bay Blazers kept their head. What was so typical about theirs, what stood out from the innings was they were able to keep their composure at the right times. They didn't let wickets fall and clump. And every batter, at least 4 out of all the batters, they actually put up some good solid scores. Saideep Ganesh up top, 32. Mark Dayal, 39. Vikash Mohan, 46. Incredibly important, 46. And then, of course, Angelo Pereira, 31. Those two, Angelo and Vikash, they probably defined this innings. They took the game a little ahead of the opposition. If those two innings would not have flourished, we would have probably been looking at a 140 to 160 kind of a score. But they ensured that they're safely there at 180. And with the kind of bowling that they have, they would fancy their chances here. But then, for Seattle Thunderbolts, it's the time. The wicket has been baked now. It may not hold as much as it was holding in the morning. so they can hope to do some good batting in the afternoon time as the match progresses. So a good game on our hands. So I'm really excited to see what's in store for after the break.
So 182 is what the magical number would be for the men in pink, Seattle Thunderbolts. Will they be able to get there? Would it be their first win, or will East Bay Blazers hold their opponents at bay as they pick up 2 more points if they win this one as well? They were excellent yesterday. Can they replicate that today? We'll wait and watch as we'll bring you every ball of that run chase. I'm Suhas Vedam, joined by Sheel. We'll be back in just a moment.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Hey, Lucia, any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
Zuper is the world's most powerful field service management solution to work your way and drive more impact. As the most flexible and customizable app for your field operations, Zuper is field service your way. Learn more at zuper.co.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Oh, well, had that been a clean collect, Jagrup would have walked his way back to the pavilion. Angelo pushing it quicker. By such a seasoned customer, he watches the batter till the last moment to pick up cues on what he wants to do. No, not out.
Clearly what we just discussed a while back. Over-aggression in the balls that it's not, it is just the first over. Even his team is egging on with the same thing. So end of the first over, 6 without loss.
Zuper is the world's most powerful field service management solution to work your way and drive more impact. As the most flexible and customizable app for your field operations, Zuper is field service your way. Learn more at zuper.co.
He may be there. Back tonight, the seasoned Rusty Theron from South Africa, now playing across in the United States, flying his trade. Someone who brings a lot of experience, shares his experience with youth across the United States. Has been an integral part of where he plays this, and he will have to bring all his international exposure and experience here to make a difference. He's bowling to his fellow South African mate Andreas Grouse.
If Jagrup Rana gets a flashy start, it allows Andres Grouse to breathe easy. We've so often seen what happens the other way around when Jagrup Rana falls early. We were discussing that yesterday as well, that Andres Grouse got that extra pressure to handle with. A marvelous delivery. It's a hard length indeed, and the ball's rising a little bit more than what Andres Grouse is expecting. It's doing so in such pace. Yeah, with good pace indeed. He's taken his gloves off as well. It's getting hotter.
There's a slight breeze blowing from the right to left, and that's the direction the ball went this time. So it's good to see a slip there. Theron leading the conditions well, putting a slip there and probably hoping the new ball might do something there.
Almost brought the slip into place. Andres Grouse closing the face of the bat a little early. Now that's a camaraderie with which this game is being played as well. Andres Grouse not only taken a single, he's also allowed himself enough time to discuss a few things with the bowler.
And I'm sure that was in a language which is not understood by anybody around them. That's the advantage. But that's the beauty of United States cricket. What intrigues me is this melting pot of cricketing talent from across the world. People with different nationalities coming in here, bringing their culture, bringing their traditions, bringing their cricket of different outlook, and building the United States cricket ground up. That's the beauty of it, and minor league cricket is definitely a huge feather in that journey as it builds a solid domestic cricket infrastructure, albeit just in T20 format, but nevertheless something to look forward to.
Absolutely. Everybody plays statue. Jagrup Rana is getting it right today. No fielder moved. Oh, such good placement. Behind point this time for 4.
He's such a fantastic player. He's got some beautiful hands. His hand-eye coordination, and when he meets the ball at the right area, he holds his shape. More importantly, if he holds his temperament, he's a player to watch. He can change the whole momentum of the game single-handedly. That's probably something that their team would hope from Jagrup, to wait and watch on some of the deliveries which needs the respect to be shown. What we saw was a little bit of nerves in the first over. It's good to see that he's settling down a bit here.
Oh, it's got him this time. The extra pace does the trick. Was looking for a flashy shot on the leg side. You miss, I hit. Tehran has picked up the early wicket that his team was demanding him.
Commentator's curse can't get worse than that. Jagrup Rana makes his way back after scoring 9. After 2 overs, it's 11 for 1.
Hey, Lucia. Any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
Yeah, they do at times, but the streak got lost somewhere due to the travels.
Just to spoil your suspense, today's word.
No. Not that I'm going to play anyways, but still. What if I decide to now that you reminded me after a long time?
You'd realize it's got a strong correlation with today's game.
Huh? Okay. That kind of a clue is very much acceptable. I don't have.
If a certain outcome happens and if a certain individual plays well, that word would make a whole lot of sense.
You play Wordle regularly?
Yes, I do. Wordle, Actrel, Nerdle. Nerdle is a cricket one. I do a whole bunch of stuff. Nerdle is a cricket. It's N-U-R-D-L-E. It's a cricket name of 6 letters.
Oh.
Cricketer. Man, woman, cricketer. So wicket for East Bay Blazers. Suhas was talking about if Jagrup falls early, that puts undue pressure on Andreas Gauss. Unfortunately, that's the reality out here as Seattle Thunderbolts lose an early wicket. That's been their bane last season as well. They've had very few occasions when they've had their openers carry on for long. Whenever they've done it, they've had great outcomes. Rishi Bhardwaj joins Andreas Gauss. And it's going to be Nawaz to start proceedings for the 3rd over.
Such contrasting styles of attack between these two teams, isn't it? One decided that spin's going to be the way forward. And you see Captain David deciding that pace it is going to be for a while now. Nawaz has been introduced, and it's a good time to introduce him as well. When a wicket is fallen, the opponents are on the back foot. Bay Area Blazers are getting many things right today. In search of the second scalp. Here is Nawaz for the first ball of his. A poor delivery, and he didn't pick it up. The fielder in the deep. It'll be 4. He's played it with such elegance there, Andreas Gauss. That's going to crackle the ropes of deep backward square. He's got 2 shots to every ball, it seems, because he's using the wrist as well at the last moment to guide the ball in the gap.
And he's got a great flourish. He's got a great bat speed. That gives him a whole lot of extra second to play at the last minute and maneuver the ball into the gaps. Andreas Gauss holds his shape. He's such a pleasant treat to watch as a batsman. Great shape, really. The thing that impressed me last year was his shape. Every time he would hit the ball for a long shot, for a big 6, it is just the way he would get underneath the ball and hold his shape. It almost was a fluid motion, languid motion. And that flourish of the bat just makes it look so beautiful as a batsman.
He's one of the most elegant, one of the most pleasing on the eyes kind of a cricketer. Just like that, another boundary would be collected. Inside out, a chip over the infield. And the fielder at points just looking at Sale.
The other thing about Andreas Gauss is his ability to pick the bad balls. It's only when the pressure is high, he probably has to go out there looking for those undue, risky shots. But with players like Adam Crosthwaite to come, Shadley to come, and some of the other batters, it would be good for him to actually hunker down, because the more he stays at the wicket, it's a good chance for Thunderbolt to build on his prowess. Jagrup's dismissal would definitely add that pressure, but not so much this time around, because they do have other batters to come and take the responsibility here.
No, it's good to see him go for the singles as well. You rightly mentioned about the bad balls being put away and the good ones being treated with respect. Is just an extension of that sentence. It's important that he understands that the dot ball percentage is something he needs to keep very, very low. Now that he's looking for other denominations as well, it's just a signal sent to the opposition that here's a man who's ready to play a longer innings. It's a longer headache for David White and co.
A word about David White. He certainly read the conditions, and also Jagrup ran very well. Brought Angelo for the first over. Jagrup clearly has an Achilles heel against the spinners. He was trying to manufacture some risky shots. Somewhere that little uncertainty in his mind, tried to cash out on the fast bowler next over, lost his wicket. Those little games within the game, right?
Yeah, and decoding those is what makes our game so interesting, doesn't it? Nawaz has decided to stick to his strengths now after a boundary first ball. He's not trying anything new, wants to bowl the right line and length outside off. Just back of a length this time. You can trust the bounce a lot on this kind of a track. Now that you mentioned the sun's beating down beautifully, whatever little moisture was trapped is evaporated already. It's getting easier for batting.
22 for 1 after 3 overs.
Seattle Thunderbolts.
Where do you go from here?
Houston, sir.
Oh, warm to warmer.
Warmer?
Oh, of course.
Anything will be warmer from here. There's so many.
Houston is desert. It's warm like hell. It's a heat wave now in US. Today is going to be very hot. It's going to be 90 Fahrenheit, so that's about 26, 27, which is like people here start feeling. For me, it's
40, 42 में चुप रहते.
That's why.
I'm coming from
becoming
Kuwait
30 out here, then people will go. Rusty Theron starts over number 4. Andrews Cars once again slashing it hard. He was the third man. A wonderful fielding there by the fielder. That ball almost grew up on that fielder, but yes, outstretched arms somehow managed to keep it in the field of play, limiting the batsman to a single.
He slapped it back into play. And mind you, there is also a net there, the goal post. He's literally been the goalkeeper on that occasion. He slapped it back into play. And no questions asked, no complaints. But this one, he was expecting it to be quicker. Trouble at the non-strikers and a direct hit would be game over. It is game over. There was a lot of ball watching. And Andries Gauss set off for a run. Would you believe it?
Absolute harakiri, yeah. Clearly livid with himself, livid with the batsman, because in one way one would think it was the batter's call, because the batsman knew at what pace they've hit the ball, but somewhere Andreas Gauss felt there was a run, absolutely, and he was playing the ball very well. He wanted to be on the strike. He was almost standing next to the batsman there. So, unfortunate dismissal, really, against the run of play. Seattle Thunderbolts lose their second wicket. More importantly, it's Andreas Gauss who's gone. A player who probably would be pivotal to this chase of 180. They needed him there. They needed one of the openers to stay long. So, clearly, a huge flip to the Blazers at this point.
Getting Andreas Gauss to commit a mistake, but not when he's out there batting at the striker's end. Bay Blazers would take this with both hands. Rishi Bharadwaj was looking perplexed rather than interested in that run.
How good was that feeling of third man creating that, limiting that boundary to a single, and then that single resulting in that desperation to come back on strike. Sometimes these actions are different from each other, but play into each other, and that's what cricket That's what makes cricket so fascinating.
I think more pressure on Rishi Bharadwaj now. He's got to make up for the fact that a set batter is back in the pavilion because he chose not to run. I think the captain will also have a word with him after this game. Was there a run or no is a different question. Who's paying for the dinner when Andres Gauss and Rishi Bharadwaj decide to go for one today is the bigger question.
Well, there's going to be a lot of silence on that table, I can say that. I can definitely tell you that. And there's going to be some awkward glances across the dressing room between those two.
It's a free hit. He overstepped, now it's going to be a free hit. Or is it because of that field? Was there an extra fielder outside? I think it's the latter. Oh, he's played it really well and in the gap too. It's one of the most difficult shots to execute, and to trust the bounce when Rusty Theron's coming hard at you. Oh, that is centre statement. Yes, it was a free hit. Many forms of getting a batter out are suspended, but still to get that one right is sending a statement indeed.
Absolutely. And that too, while Rahul Singh is facing his first ball. There was a lot of gap indeed, because the ball fell right in the middle of the grassy knoll in the stands. There's no one sitting there. Lots of gaps.
This is much better. This is a reply from Rusty Theron. The seesaw battle continues. It's a very difficult shot to execute, especially when you don't know and the bowler comes hard at you like that.
And the pace of Rusty. One, you can use the pace, but getting under it, maybe his height was an advantage there, but all said and done, he executed to perfection.
You've got to love the fact that it's still a slip in operation. Guides it away behind square, will pick up a single. What do you think from Rishi Bharadwaj's point of view?
Well, he obviously, there's a lot on his mind. He will have to put that behind him and get started here, because you can't ruminate on that one. What has happened has happened. There's a chase to be handled. He will have to trust his natural game out here and dig deep. Wait for the bat box, and it will come. Not get too desperate. It's a mix of preservation and aggression.
Just getting on top of the bounce nicely. And suddenly this wicket looks like a different one altogether. We didn't see this much bounce. One awkward bounce was when Akhilesh was bowling to Mark Dayal. Nothing much thereafter. Bowler was gone. 33 for 2.
Sad dismissal. She's not a very good runner between the wickets. He's a good placer of the ball. That should have been something which should have been known by other batters. So to expect a quick single in 6th place.
I think he was too absorbed by that shot itself that he didn't even see it this way, that there is a...
I was a bit frustrated. Get back into momentum there. 74, Angelo.
33 for 2. After the end of 4 overs. Angelo Pereira gets another over. There was something interesting that we discussed between the overs as well. Sheil, you had an interesting point of view on Andres Gauss's itchiness to get to the striker's end again.
Yeah, and I'm still calling the ball previous to that, when that wonderful fielding was done in the third man area, remitting him to a single. Yeah. Sometimes it works on on the batsman's mind. They were thinking that it was a sure shot boundary, and to get 3 runs short and being on a momentum, there's that little bit of itchiness to get back on strike. That might have caused that run out again.
So many times our sport tells that for picking up a wicket you need to bowl well. Oh, that's a hit really well. Behind square for 4. Rishi Bharadwaj waited and waited in a good position to put that ball away. And the idea was to hit it not hard at all.
The key aspect of a sweep is you've got to be doubly sure which ball to choose for. Sometimes batsmen play the sweep to negate a turn that they are not able to read. In this case, the ball was short, coming on the leg, and that was probably the best shot to play, to place the ball behind the deep square leg area, and he did it with perfection. Wonderful shot.
He had to wait on it a little bit more. Now he's looking for that squeaky single. The quick single might also yield another with the overthrow. By the time Arav gets around it, 2 runs completed. Rishi Bharadwaj is suddenly sensing singles a little better. I'm very sure there's Andres Gao smiling ear to ear now.
That's a good game awareness there. Putting pressure on the shortened fielder, eliciting mistake, capitalizing with a single.
There you go. This one's not bouncing as much, so there's more bounce on offer only when the pacer is in operation. And Rusty Theron was literally giving it a bit more shoulder to it. Oh, that's hit well. But straight to the fielder. Still a single would be possible. It's been an eventful over. First getting a boundary and then milking the bowling thereafter.
5 gone, 40 for 2.
When the kids are in the back, there's too much background. You can definitely, I've already told all the kids not to stay in this area.
Okay.
You can also remind them.
Sure. No worries, thank you.
Please pick the right areas as well.
So Rishi Bharadwaj looks determined here to stitch together a impactful knock. He's working the gaps well. He's reading the game well, putting pressure on the fielders to get some quick singles and doubles. Those are very important, not to get sucked into just boundaries, because not every ball is going to be boundaries. As Nawaz starts the next over for the Bay Blazers.
It's very interesting, the number of 2s have come by in this run chase, and we're not even halfway through with it.
And that's a bit to do with the Klahani outfield. Last year, what we were seeing as 2s would be restricted to 1s or even dot balls. So this is a lush outfield, and sometimes in some of the other slightly lesser lusher outfield, we would get boundaries. Those get limited to just 2s out here. But that said, there's a lot of fielders on the boundary. So batsmen are trying to use the gap in the real estate to get some singles and doubles going here.
And Nawaz is realizing the quicker he gets, the slower ball becomes his better friend. Disguising it to perfection, the batter was through with a shot and then the ball arrived.
We did see since morning today that faster the ball has been bowled, it gets bounced, but it also gets the opportunity, the batsman, to free their arms and score big. It's only when the pace has been taken away that we have seen batsmen struggle, especially the loopy, flighted ones from the spinners have actually produced more deception, more turn, more bounce, and restricted the batsman from scoring. But the faster the pace, flatter the balls, it's easy for them to get under the ball and do a hoik.
Very surprised that the straighter part of the boundary has been not the regular option to go for the batters. Otherwise, usually it's the go-to option, isn't it? When the long on and long off are not lurking anymore, the mid-on and mid-off are in circle. You try and get some gap, create some gap, and manufacture that gap to go straight past the bowler.
And that's one of the reasons for that, Suhas, has been that the bowlers have intentionally kept it outside the off stump. That's been the go-to method for Harmeet and his team. And we're seeing the similar kind of approach here by the East Bay Blazers. They're bowling slightly outside the off stump, and that brings the square of the wicket in play. Once again, a shorter ball outside the off stump has been slashed hard over the through the third man region for 4. That's exactly what we were talking about now. People are bowling short of length outside the off stump. That doesn't give enough batsmen to come straight of the wicket. They have to use the square of the wicket options, both sides of the wicket. We are seeing a lot of runs being scored on the third man cover point region in the offside and mid-wicket square leg region in the side today.
The cut shots are flourishing. The straighter shots, they've got to hit the market. No, he's deliberately bowling it slightly wider, but it's this time he's flirted too much with the wide line. Little movement in the air as well. It's not helping the bowler when it's taking the ball away from the righty.
And I'm not surprised that the bowler is surprised. That was a tough call because the ball almost took the edge of the bat, went just below the bat, and that was definitely not a wide, as far as I'm concerned.
It's also that initial movement that the batter makes to adjust to the ball that he knows is going to be outside off as well, isn't it? But his eyes are going agog because he's getting that extra bit of bounce and he trusts that he can get it over point for 4. And cut shot has been his bread and butter. He's just walked into that shot, cannot get that run. Quick to get to the ball as well, the fielder. Fantastic stuff. This is good cricket all around.
You said it, absolutely. There has been some thought there. The fielders are not as, the square of the wicket and offside are not as close as it was during the Thunderbolt innings. These fielders are not on the boundary line, but they are 3/4 distance from the batsman. And that might be the difference between the two. They're probably looking to get a catch there. At the same time, they're also trying to stop the singles coming from the batsman.
We'll keep that chat alive for sure.
So at the end of the over, 6 overs gone, 49 for 2.
Stay back. Right now, there are 3 dot balls, so what already happened. Then they don't take a start because now they know the boundary ball might come, and they're doing it deliberately. They're doing it really well, very quietly. Otherwise,
they're also hoping that there will be one played slightly in the air, but that might just come in that height for them to catch on.
Catch it also, yeah. But no, but whenever the batter tries to hit it this way and the fielder knows that he's going to cut it hard, then they take a start because they want to cut out on the angle.
Correct.
If the ball grows on you, it's easy to intercept over here compared to here.
Correct.
Change in bowling, Mark Dale comes in as
the 4th option for East Bay Blazers. 49 for 2 after 6. It's a good score, to say the least, that they're looking at an asking rate of 9 and thereabouts, and they're at about 8.17. The end of the power play is 49. They might have wanted a few more runs
and probably a wicket
lesser,
but they would take it if this pair can see them through till 10 and keep the run rate thereabouts of 8. There is a good launching pad for the rest of them to come and finish the job.
Absolutely. You talked about that launch pad as well. So that is something that Bay Blazers would be wary of as well. They understand that if they can keep the required rate up by bowling the dot deliveries in this frame, in this particular phase, then that applies more pressure, even though there are better batters to as well. And it's a game of pressure at the end of the day. Oh, that's cheeky. He's playing the field at the moment. He'll easily beat the easiest fielder, that is deep backward square. To try and get there was a Herculean task indeed. He's picking the gap wonderfully well.
Rahul saying that was a predetermined shot. Honestly, he was already bending down to play a sweep shot, whatever would be the ball from Mark Dayal. It was a little bounce. There was a little bounce in that one, but he went with the shot, played it up in the air, trusted his instincts. Wonderful outcome.
This is more authority. This will travel the distance for 6. This time the mid-wicket region chosen. Fabulous shot. He's slowly rotating the kind of areas that he wants to score runs in.
Rahul saying he's got a lot of experience
batting up the order, and he's bringing it all here today. Attacking Mark Dayal's first 2 deliveries, new bowler, not letting him settle, and getting some crucial momentum runs for his team.
You talked about those momentum runs. That's another category of runs altogether, isn't it? You know you can get a boundary, but the way you score those boundaries gives you the upper hand. It's been a stamp of authority in the two boundaries that he scored. One was delicate, the other one was more power. It's a wide delivery that eventually the arms of the umpire spread. It's one dreaded thing that you don't want to look back on. As a bowler who's just into his follow-through, he believes that the umpire's arm just sticks to where they are. Mark Dayal, he's seen it all. He's a cricketer of great caliber, of course. The bat with the ball is a complete cricketer too. Doesn't want to change the field. It's interesting. He wants to stick with the same field. 3 men for the cut shot. Or just a chip over. That'll be 4. Wow, the areas that he's targeting this time just a backward of point, but indeed it's sensational, offering the full face of the bat. When was the last time you saw a ball hit with so much authority with the full face of the bat in that region? Usually the ball's cut. The bat percentage on that one was excellent.
It was a nudge at max. Timing did it all. Just the placement and timing. And this time,
huge.
This time it's a huge hit on the boundary line, and the fielder Arnav drops the catch. That was a chance.
That's an opportunity gone down. Just when the batter was getting into a groove, he's already dented the confidence of Dayal. Dayal believed he can fly it up a little bit. Usually a wonderful fielder, Arnav.
That was a tough one, honestly. At the end of the over, a lot of good runs coming for Seattle Thunderbolt, and a bit of luck there as well for them. It is at the end of 7. It's 65-2.
Still,
Which one?
It's still in the balance.
Oh yeah.
Because
this over was good.
Arnav can pick up 2 wickets here. It's game over because no pressure when the spinners will come on again. Everything.
I still feel there's something in here for the spinner. It's holding a bit, and they're trying to keep it outside the off stump again.
This man, his 2 overs are going to be very crucial. And
yeah.
Another ball, changed bowling here. Arnav Iyer, he just unfortunately dropped a catch, but he's been brought into the attack. First over for today. He will be having some thoughts going on in his mind to make amends to that little blemish on the field. As Suhas mentioned, he is a fielder of repute. So it's something that fielding on the boundary line always brings that a bit of doubt, right? You never know whether you're supposed to be paying a bit of attention, whether you're crossing the line or not, and the ball coming at you. There are a few things going on in your mind, and sometimes it creates that zone of uncertainty, which is what happened with Arnav. The ball, he almost was catching a feet away from his body, and that created that mistake.
That's it straight, and that's it well. Angelo gets around it. He's coming like a flash. That was going for 4 90% of the time, but Angelo believed otherwise. Sticks his hand out, gets the ball right in his palm, and look at that throw as well. Such good recovery. He's kept a boundary down to a single. 3 valuable runs for his side. Saved.
Very important moment there. Once again, Richie, he's been very good with picking the gaps. He's played with soft hand, just pushed the ball between the 2 fielders and picked up a single. We don't see those flair moments, of cricket. T20 unfortunately gives a lot of importance to the impact shots, the power shots. Sometimes these little nudges and pushes and picking up gaps and plays of flair are delightful to watch. Once again, that was a fuller Yorker length ball from Arnav using his height and dug out expertly by Rahul. A single towards Angelo. It was an eventful over last over for Seattle Thunderbolts. They got 16 important runs.
That's hit well. And that'll be 4 over extra cover. He's treating the pacer like a spinner now.
That man, Rishi Bhardwaj again. This time, a proper impact shot above cover, using the gaps expertly. There was nobody there. There was a short cover here. He played above the head of Rusty Theron there, and then there was complete gap, picking up important 4 runs for his team.
The moment he got width, he was able to play that shot. Now we'll have to manufacture width if this is on the stumps. Oh, he's decided to go cheeky. Well fielded. Fielder with short fine leg.
It's 27. Look like 27. Yeah.
Arnav needed that extra bit of support from his fielders after being hit away for 4. Inside out. This time, just concentrating on timing and placement. Not the power, but the boundary is still collected.
8 overs gone, 77 for 2.
Zuper is the world's most powerful field service management solution to work your way and drive more impact. As the most flexible and customizable app for your field operations, Zuper is field service your way. Learn more at zuper.co.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Hey, Lucia. Any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
David White making bowling changes thick and fast as David Bunn comes into attack. David Bunn has a classic left-handed bowler's approach. Reminds all of us a lot about Daniel Vettori, a certain Dan Vettori from New Zealand. He's got this flowing little action, and an action where he can change the length of the ball, sometimes release it faster, sometimes hold it back that extra second, changing the length of it. Bowled beautifully yesterday. We'll wait and see what he does today.
Backs away. Done well. Got to say that Bunn is very, very quick in getting through the overs. Hence, he's a better friend to the captain as well. Inside, just over. The fielder at point tried his best. Only if he were a couple of inches taller once again. He's been hitting those teasers now, but it's going for 4.
What we just spoke a couple of overs back, the placement of those fielders on the 30-yard circle is for 2 reasons. One, to stop some of those quick singles, but also to give a chance to the Bay Blazers team to get a catch when the shot is played square of the wicket, especially when the spinners are targeting outside the off-stumps line. But this time, Rahul was expertly just lobbing it above point by a few inches, like you just said. A bit of height there would have made a difference.
Bunn's going to respond. He's chosen the one that just goes in with the angle, still backing away, picks up a single. It's a direct hit. But Rishi had made it. A boundary and then now a single. What's important from Seattle Thunderbolts' point of view, that both the batters have some momentum under their belt. It's important for Bunn to slow things down to try and get the momentum back to his side. East Bay Blazers would believe from yesterday's game as well, they've learnt a lot. It's a matter of a wicket. Now furniture has been shifted. The set of stumps at the non-strikers end finds home at the strikers now. Why do you think that's the reason? Like, is that the reason? Because we're playing from one end only, and hence if there is any blemish, let's have a look at the perfect set of stumps to be at the strikers end, at the business end.
I think the direct throw just created some degree of dent or cracks in that set of furniture on the other ends. It's safe to keep it on the non-strikers end, have the right one on the strikers end. Talking about Rahul Singh, he is batting at a striker of 240 almost. He's playing a good knockout here, 38 out of 16. He's rocketing along, 5 4s, 2 6s.
He's taking the pressure off Rishi, doesn't he? Do that on a regular basis. He's gone for that shot. It could be close, very close indeed. The finger that matter has stayed down. Rishi Bharadwaj would have had his heart in his mouth. For a moment it looked like he was sitting duck in front of the wicket. He went for that shot. Usually the batter tries to move away, doesn't he, from the line of the stumps.
That was a wonderful ball on the leg stump. Probably the decision for the umpire to make was, did it pitch outside the leg stump? Possibly yes.
Yeah, he's marching to his own drum beats here, Rahul. Watching the batter till the last moment just to see if he's dancing around. Didn't want to move at all, didn't move an inch. Mind games galore. He's such stylish cricketer. He's gone for 2 as well. Rishi is just getting better and better with his running as this innings of his is progressing.
True. 9 overs gone, 87 for 2.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Hey, Lucia. Any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
Angelo Pereira coming back for his over number 3. 2 overs, 13 runs. He's another bowler. Whenever he's in the, like Harmeet Singh, when he comes into the bowling attack, there's always an opportunity being created. Such a wily cricketer, comes from the land of spin, understands the craft, and he certainly puts a lot of thought in his cricketing game, whether it's batting or bowling.
Big appeal. Angelo started to celebrate immediately, only to look back and realize the finger hasn't risen. But keeper went up immediately as well. There's some cue for sure. There was some sound. Was it the bat hitting the ground?
Or the ball hitting the bat and then bouncing up to the wicketkeeper, either of those two.
Now if the bat and ball make contact and then the ball bounces as well before reaching the wicketkeeper, that's 2 distinct sounds, isn't it? That's 2 sounds to start with. Looked like there was one on that occasion, so either the ball hitting the bat and going straight to the keeper, then of course the appeal would make sense, or was it the bat thudding into the ground? Isn't it interesting? So many sounds to decode in our game. So many sounds to decode in our game, and within a span of 1 second, all of that transpires.
And that makes the umpiring job such a difficult one. And umpire Pulli there, he was right, so emphatic in his decision making. Immediately said no.
Just past the fielder, shot third man, but will not have the legs to reach the fence, so 2 more added to the tally. The throw was out of frustration. You could sense that sometimes the keeper has to bear the brunt of it.
And that's the Kalahani outfield. At least 2 balls that I've seen in the last 6 where the ball slowed up. So somewhere the outfield is having its impact after all. 89 for 2.
Deliberately slowing it down. Fielder in the deep will watch it sail. Deep mid-wicket, had no chance until you gift him a jetpack and not a jersey. That's huge. 6.
Magnificent shot. Waited for 1 second. The ball just stopped and came. But you could see the way Rahul held himself back for that extra second. Was able to middle it over David White for a 6.
The idea was to bowl one slower delivery, one that invites the batter and try and purchase the wicket. But here is Rahul.
And that's his 50. That's his 50. 50 of 23 balls as Seattle Thunderbolts reached 98 after 10 overs. This one at least refreshes at least once in 3 balls by itself. I don't have to refresh it like this one. This one refreshes on its own.
Well, let's keep this one. Huh?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing, because without the scores and everything, having no little clue that
no problem
he's reaching the milestone.
This thing is not working. The touch screen for some reason. We'll check it out.
You have 2 more. You have 2 more options to go.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
You have office tomorrow?
I work from home, so
Zooper is the world's most powerful field service management solution to work your way and drive more impact. As the most flexible and customizable app for your field operations, Zooper is field service your way. Learn more at zooper.co.
23 balls to Forest 50. Complete stamp of authority out here as David Bunn is ready to start the 11th over. Rishi Bhardwaj, after that little mishap with Andreas Gauss, he's played with a lot of responsibility here. Almost.
Gets a strike now.
Oh, gets this. That was Rahul Singh. I beg your pardon.
I'll tell you what, Rishi's also got the cushion because of Rahul's innings. He's striking at a rate of 200 plus 217.39. That gives you as a batter alongside to have that breathing space to look for the gaps more. Just like this. He's trusting Rahul to go for the big shots again. I think the roles have changed. Rishi wants to play the anchor's role here.
100 up for Seattle Thunderbolts, and that comes at a pretty brisk pace, 10.2 overs.
How do we know the partnership, sir?
He's got him this time. Much needed wicket.
A faster ball from David Bunn, full and targeted at the stumps. Yorked Rahul Singh completely, and clean ball. That's a big, big moment in the game. Rahul was going at a brisk pace. He was not just clawing onto the chase, onto the target score, but also building some momentum. His departure certainly puts a big dent on the proceedings out here. What a wonderful ball there from the left armour. 100 for 2, 100 for 3. He bowled the leg spin instead of Rahul Singh. 2 overs 13 for 1. Man of the match candidate. Adam Crossweight.
That line?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Adam Crosswaite finds himself in the middle. As Rahul tries to cut a ball that was too quick for his liking, and then David Bunn, a terrific cricketer, just kept it on. Believe that he's going to keep it on the stumps throughout the over. This one just sliding with the angle. Played it on there, Rahul. The David Bunn's also amongst the wickets. That will do a world of good to his confidence. The East Bay Blazers would believe it's a matter of one more wicket here. Rishi Bharadwaj would be the key for them. Adam Crosswaite wasting no time to get off the mark.
There's a lot of opportunity here in terms of number of balls. It's not something where they have to get desperate, but they will have to ensure that there is a constant flurry of singles and doubles till the bat ball comes in. And Rishi has done that very well so far. Like you said, a lot of it was also due to the fact that Rahul was galloping with the score. But these two players are pretty much similar in their mold, although Adam Crosswaite has an ocean of experience under his belt.
A successful over, right? For Bunn.
Zuper is the world's most powerful field service management solution to work your way and drive more impact. As the most flexible and customizable app for your field operations, Zuper is field service your way. Learn more at zuper.co.
Hey, Lucia. Any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
Srinivas gets a game today, and now his services with the ball in hand would be required. Just when the wicket has fallen, it's a good time to introduce a good bowler. Adam Crosswaite, what would be his plans? To try and hurdle the ball around, a lot of space on the leg side to do so. Singles always available. Short ball, and the ball was never to be seen again into the woods, and it'll require some effort to retrieve. This ground looks minuscule when someone like Adam gets it right.
That's in the next county, I guess, because that's not in Nisako anymore. It's a delightful, picturesque setting in Klahani, but one of the things that we've seen often is when the ball gets hit with that ferocity, it tends to disappear in the woods. And this was well within the roots, a few 15, 20 rows of trees behind. Adam Crosswaite reminding himself of his picturesque Australia, where he'll be hitting such balls 15, 20 rows into those gigantic stadiums that they have up there.
It's becoming a habit for Adam. Come in, hit a six, then spend some time with the water bottles and have a good chat. Let the squad retrieve.
It's good to see the community coming in already. There's a sizable amount of crowd, considering the sort of fledgling interest of this game in these parts. In the morning it was rather quiet, but good to see that the community is coming in to cheer their team chasing this total. And miraculously, the volunteers have, the young volunteers who are keeping a vigil of that part have retrieved the ball. So it's a much shorter break compared to what we had yesterday. But that was a shot and a half. 109 for 3 after 11.1. From the East Bay Blazers points, Suhas, if they are keeping a tab on the score, they would be worried because this is a good, solid run rate at which Seattle Thunderbolts are clipping right now. Unless there is a flurry of wickets or something really goes awry, they are well on course to chase this down.
Just get a feeling that East Bay Blazers would be telling themselves it's a matter of a couple of wickets over here. And then you can open up the option of trying to restrict the opponents from getting the desired total. At this stage, with Rishi Bharadwaj out there and Adam getting it from the middle of the bat and the ball pinging off it, containing is not an option. Wickets, wickets, wickets. That's what Srini should be telling himself. Srinivas gets it wrong. Adam Crosswell gets it even bigger over mid-wicket fence this time. The result doesn't change. Only the region does.
And this time it's probably 2 countings away from this side. Adam Crosswell is counting his air miles rather than hitting shots out here. Those are massive shots. Unfortunately, the camera isn't capturing that for you, the viewers. But these are massive shots. In the context of the game, we've seen a few sixes today. All right. But none have been as massive as those two. Adam's doing it so well for himself, hitting a shot, taking a few minutes, getting some well-earned minutes to take a break, relax, get set, train his guns, and go for it. So umpires finally deciding that I don't think they're going to be retrieving that one. So they're bringing back replacement ball.
A replacement ball, you say? With Adam in this kind of form, bring a box of balls and keep it alongside the umpires. That'll save time.
He won't mind those slightly newish balls again. With the ball having taken a bit of hammering, spinners might have got a little bit of purchase with the rough ball to get it back as a newer, shinier ball. It might play in the hands of the batsman.
Srinivas would believe that a change in ball will bring a change in fortune as well. Both the times he's gone short, Adam Crosswell has done the minimal and getting the maximum result he is. He can swivel all day if you want. Here is Arnav giving him a word of advice in Tamil. And we've talked about this being a melting pot of cultures, the USA. And the cricketing culture also changes from different parts of the world. When you bring all that to the USA, it just tells you that you are cooking up something very, very interesting.
No questions about that. Absolutely.
And for a cricket fan, it's extremely sumptuous.
It's incredible to see what has happened because of these leagues mushrooming, the minor league coming into play. We are all waiting with bated breath for the major league to start next year. And this is going to be an incredible feeder of talent into that when some more bigger stars come and join. And this time he rocks back. Rishi, he's not holding back either. If Adam's hitting them gigantic, monstrous sixes, Rishi is finding his little delicacies of boundaries in between, punctuating this chase with some flair. Srinivas, it's been a tough first game for him. In fact, the first over, it's seeming like longer than ever.
This could be taken, fielder coming underneath and put down. Srinivas cannot believe it. Either when the ball makes contact with the bat, the fielders don't feature in the equation, and when they do, they watch it up. It's been an over to forget for Srinivas.
121 for 3 after that drop catch. 12 overs done. He just gave 18. It almost seemed like he gave 30.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
David Bunn starting his third. 2 overs, 14 for 1. Rishi Bharadwaj on strike. 60 balls remaining, or 60 to get. from 8 overs, 48 balls, 60 runs.
181 target, right?
Yep. 182, I think. 60 from 47. That's the equation for Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts looks like they've done their homework, especially with their batting order here. They gave Adam a different role to play, and he's doing that really well as of now.
And that gave Rahul Singh to come and express. He is a batsman who bats very well, top of the order. So there's no point holding him for the back end of the innings.
Oh, another quick single. Gets there, does Rishi. Just get a feeling he's struggling a little bit with those pads on as well.
Or his hamstring. That looks like a little twinge in the hamstring. Sometimes these pads can cause a little awkward movement in the knee and above in the quads. He certainly feels a little ping going there in the hamstrings, really.
Now for Adam Crossway, who's batted in temperatures beyond this one all through his life, I would say that's all right.
It was well bowled by David Bunn again. It's that follow through that he has. Sometimes it seems like the ball is going to come faster, but it comes a notch slower.
You summed it up beautifully when you said David Vittori. Something similar. He also works with a similar angle of attack. And in all those variations, nothing changes. The arm speed doesn't change at all. It's very difficult for a batter to pick that way. David Bunn's got that natural ability. There are two kinds of deliveries. One is when you stop and deliver, much like Ashwin. The other one's when you just stop and then go back. Now it's a full toss at the end of the day. He's found the gap this time, Adam. Cool, calm and collected as he picks up another single. Game's in control as far as the men in pink are concerned. David Bunn desperately needed another wicket to bring his team back into the game, into the over.
127 for 3 after 13.
$127, no? Or exact target, yeah, but
42 balls, 55 to get.
55, so that's like 182 to get, right?
Hey, Lucia. Any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
Zuper is the world's most powerful field service management solution to work your way and drive more impact. As the most flexible and customizable app for your field operations, Zuper is field service your way. Learn more at zuper.co.
With a little ping in his hamstring probably, so there was a little bit of hydration. Everything is set ready as Rusty Theron starts his third over, 2 overs, 16 for 1.
He's expecting more pace, but Rusty hasn't provided it on that occasion. Well, Adam was also playing past the parcel.
Talk about being a team person. I would like to complete my run, but I'd also make sure that my compatriot who's dropped a glove gets his glove back. And I'll make the run as well quite comfortably.
I'll tell you what, by the time Rishi realized he's lost a glove, it received. He just received it. There's a learning for all the package delivering companies there. Adam's there for you. He's taken this single all right. It's a no ball. Rusty Theron has overstepped. Rusty Theron has overstepped, and that means it's a free hit to follow. From a shorter run-up. How much of an impact will this have? It is Adam Crossway. It's Adam Crossway on strike. The only on consolation here is the fact that Rusty Theron's allowed to change the field because a single was offered.
There's some conference going on between the bowler and the umpire about the authenticity of that no ball. He's probably putting some questions out there that was it even a no ball. The umpire is giving some explanations about why it was. David White coming into the equation also to have a conference with the umpire.
It's only correct that David White follows or gets involved in that conversation. He's always the first to discuss with the officials and then relay it to his side and the concerned.
The umpire Adepalli there giving Rusty Theron all the reason, and the no ball is held up. The no ball stays, the free hit stays. There's been not much of a field change as Rusty Theron comes to all the free hold ball to crossweight. He has a hoik over third man, and that ball trickles out on the boundary line above the two fielders there for four. Maybe not the maximum impact of a free hit, but boundary nevertheless.
Yeah, that'll do. Adam Crossway is someone who's usually hitting sixes at will. He'd be quite content collecting a boundary. It was good ploy to be bowling it slower so that Adam had to reach out for it and use a bit of power, but he still gets it over the top. Clears the infield, collects a boundary. Oh, moving away this time. Will it carry it? Looks like it has. It's one of the best catches that we've seen in a couple of days here at Klahani Park.
Fantastic catch. What a catch. That came almost next to his bootlaces. But he was right there, down there, and made sure that it's cupped at the right moment. Adam Crossway, what a big wicket. At 134 runs now.
The ball was dipping on him. It was important for him while he was losing the balance still to have the hands in the right position. Collected it and ensured that the pop of the elbows to the ground does not allow the pop of the ball outside the clasp. He was able to hold on to it. The ball was as dear as diamond for him at that point of time, and that is exactly why Adam Crossway is mapping his way back to the pavilion.
23 of 11, that's what Adam scored. Important runs. Thunderbolt would have been probably expecting a little more from him. A player of expertise is probably needed for anchoring this chase and seeing the team home. But all said and done, Rusty Theron was brought into the attack to create a breakthrough, and he does it. He does it with the aid of some sparkling fielding there at the short term. And we have been talking about those two fielders, not too close, not too deep, and somewhere they are vindicated by that decision making. So wicket falls for Thunderbolt. Their captain Harmeet Singh is in the middle now. They need lesser than 50 runs to win this game now. They have ample time to do it, and it's getting ever so interesting, this game.
The East Bay Blazers would believe it's a matter of another wicket over here. Harmeet Singh has been in good touch of late. Rishi Bharadwaj doing a great job as of now. There seems to be some other trouble as well in the middle. I think there's some confusion as to who's going out, as there was a replacement called for being a fielder.
Theron has one more ball to go in this over. In fact, 3 more deliveries to go, beg your pardon. Harmeet Singh comes in, and that would be a little different for the bowler because he's a left-hander at crease right now.
David White is spoiled for choice. He's used 7 bowlers so far. And Rusty Theron's got another over up his sleeve, mind you, after this one. And he can always go back to Nawaz Khan if he wants to prop up the pace. I think the idea is to use Nawaz Khan as someone who can bowl in short bursts, provide that extra bit of pace, rattle the opposition, and then they hold him back.
Yep.
Interestingly, there's one more over for David Bunn as well, so that'll be very judicious. Srinivas has gone for runs, but did create an opportunity, mind you. It'll be interesting to see how the next few overs play out. Now with the left-hander in the mix, Rusty Theron has done his job. Can he eke out another wicket in this over? He'll have 6 more balls, and he would want to bowl to different batters who are still new to the crease.
Thunderbolt have held back Shadley today. He is a key in this whole chase. They're holding him back with a different role to finish probably. That's pushed by Harmeet off the mark on the very first ball as faced towards that shorter third man, shorter point area. Picking up a single. Now the chase moves on. Rishi Bhardwaj, you just mentioned, he's played a good anchor's knock here.
Extra bit of bounce once again. Somehow negotiates it, but will get a single at the end of the day and get some more time to think. It's not like there have been demons in this pitch. It's happened at times, but it's been very uncommon. That extra bit of bounce and the venom on the ball. And Theron's someone who uses his shoulder as well at times, especially on Astro. Easily whipped away off his hips. He's called for 2. Fielder from deep backward square will get around it. Oops, he's put it down. What should have been 2 has been converted into 4. Should have been a clean collect. He's instead pushed it beyond the rope. Little lapse in concentration. Rusty Theron's giving him a stare. Oh, it's been that kind of day for Rusty so far. 140 on the board after 14. The required rate is now getting down.
That's nicely poised now. 6 overs, 36 balls, 42 runs. Wow.
With Shadley to
Abdesh, Shadley.
Where's Jagan? Can you just call Jagan, sir? Mr. Jagan, if you have his number.
I don't have his number.
Hey, Lucia. Any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
For the batters.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Very well fielded. He's definitely saved a single, if not more. Immediately after that shot, you could see that Bunn wants to bowl the next one very quickly. That's it hard. That's it high. The perfect ingredients you'd require if you're brewing 6. Harmeet joins the party. It shows in a very safe area too.
That's his number.
A terrific hit. He's making 6 hitting look so simple as well. The way he gets the elevation, it's such a treat to watch, Harmeet. Now waiting for Bun's reply. Bun's been too good with his replies. Can he make a comeback? It's a spongy outfield. Ball plonks itself, doesn't carry itself forward much.
Harmeet has got a lot of range as far as batting is concerned. We have seen him that he's probably one of the most cleanest hitters. At the straight of the wicket this time, Rishi doing what he has been doing all day today. Probably playing with his muscle memory now in autopilot. 148 for 4. 34 more runs needed.
It's a very interesting choice of words actually to be on autopilot with the captain at the other end. Who's literally seeing it fly. And sending balls of this kind into orbit. That's 6 more. The kids are having a ball. They're stationing themselves straight behind the side screen, expecting meteors to fly towards them. Harmeet obliges.
Once again, Harmeet Singh, we spoke about his range and his appetite of hitting balls over the bowler. He does it beautifully. 155 for 4 after 15.
Zuper is the world's most powerful field service management solution to work your way and drive more impact. As the most flexible and customizable app for your field operations, Zuper is field service your way. Learn more at zuper.co.
27 runs needed in 5 overs, 30 balls. For the first time, the required rate is below 6, below run a ball, as Arnav Iyer gets set for the gets set to bowl the 16th over. Rishi Bhardwaj doing exactly what he's been doing, taking a single again. Harmeet Singh has scored 18 of 6 now. Full toss, and he gives it a complete treatment. The ball taking the outside edge. That's a classic death over shot. Harmeet flashing at everything that is not on the stumps. That's calculated risk from him. And the ball goes to a more finer third man boundary for 4. And the score moves on to 160 now. 22 more to get. 28 balls. That's a massive hit again over the mid-wicket boundary. Harmeet Singh doing it in 6s. That's a huge one. The captain wants to finish this and then also get some net run rate points in under his bag. He's clearly aware that with a clear head and wants to do this and finish the job for his team.
Yeah, that's too short. Harmeet doesn't miss out on the opportunities of this kind. The 6s that he's hit, he's targeted the shorter ball, sent them for 6. He's targeted the fuller ball, sent them for 6. It's just that the region has changed, the result hasn't. The intent is there to go out and ensure that his team gets over the line as quickly as possible. You mentioned the net run rate as well. Now, so early in the tournament, if one can think about the last column of the points table, just tells you that he's been planning a lot.
It's very critical in a competition like this that you look at all the aspects of it and keep an eye on wherever there's an opportunity. you not only earn points but also the net run rate ones, because at the end the difference between a few teams is just less than the thickness of a paper. And at that point, net run rate comes handy if one has a little bit on their side. We saw the Silicon Valley Strikers doing that yesterday. Emphatic win, huge net run rate boost. It would be worthwhile for Harmeet to get a few points under his belt here as well from a net run rate perspective.
White ball signaled. Not only is he hitting the ball well, Harmeet is leaving it well too. The judgment has been wonderful today. Just get a feeling that the pace is also becoming a little predictable. What if he backs himself and opts for a slower delivery or a slower Yorker? Does so, induces the outside edge. This should be taken, an easy catch. Man at point couldn't have asked for a simpler catch. Harmeet Singh perishes, and the change in pace has worked.
One would always question the judgment of that shot. There was so much going for him. He already had all the required number of runs that he was needed for this from a run rate perspective in this over. Was it worthwhile to go for that shot? One would question. But then Harmeet Singh always is an instinctive player. Most of the time his instincts come off for maximums. This time he perishes. But he also did that probably knowing the fact that Shadley One Shockwick is still in the hut. And he walks in now. With that cushion, probably Harmeet went on to finish the job early. But that sets the cat amongst the pigeons again. 167 for 5, with 2 more deliveries to go in this over. So Shadley Van Shockwick is the next batsman in. Rishi Bhardwaj is on strike for that one. Batsman crossed. "15 runs to win from here." Rishi turns that towards square leg, quickly finishing the first run and easily scampering for the second one. As his hamstring continues to pose questions to him, he's dropped his bat and giving it a little stretch out there. He's been there doing some of the hard work of running hard, picking up singles, rotating the strike, holding one end together. His hamstring is probably feeling the heat, quite literally.
Yeah, every single is going to be a struggle against strain. You could sense that it's coming off. That ping that you were talking about is being heard already. Rishi is struggling, and that poses a lot of other questions as well. Who's going to finish the game off? More pressure on Seattle Thunderbolts if he's not up on his feet quickly to replenish fluids and to get some medical treatment. He's already called for medical attention. They need a set batter there. The men in pink, Seattle Thunderbolts, as far as the East Bay Blazers are concerned. Since they play cricket in the right spirit, it's not something they enjoy. You could see the concern on their faces too as they converge towards Rishi Bhardwaj.
Well, every professional cricketer playing the league would love to stay fit and be able to play the entire distance of the tournament. And so they understand that how much fitness is a key part of staying alive with their chances of this tournament. So beneath all that competition and
the opposition lies the heart of a sportsman. So the moment he started reeling on those feet and he started falling down, we saw a bunch of Bay Blazer players immediately reach out to him to ensure that he's comfortable. He's been supplied with some fluids out there and hope him to get back and and complete the job. There's some encouraging words coming from his dugout. He's been a warrior today. Obviously, that little mishap with Andreas Gauss would have worked on his head, but he's worked gallantly through the innings, keeping his head, making sure that the team had one end steady.
He doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be a liability to his side. You could already sense that he's someone who's thoroughly been a warrior, would love to continue if he can. The only question is if he continues, it'll definitely be an effort of bravery, but shouldn't want to be a liability by cutting off some of the denominations of the game. Single will not be on offer because he cannot run. The rules do not suggest that you have a runner. That's long ago in cricket that we had. It is a test of fitness. It is a test of mental strength. It is about putting the pains behind and continuing for your side. You could see the teammates egging on. Seattle Thunderbolts wait with bated breath. They don't know if Rishi is willing to continue. If Rishi can do so. If a set batter comes back to the pavilion, what are the chances of a wicket falling then?
There's a lot riding there, and he probably understands that, and he wants to take that time. He probably understands that. He wants to keep himself in the right shape and order. He's taking his time. He's taking his time to get his cramps under order. He probably knows that it's in a sniffing distance now, and his being in the wicket is key to his team, and he's definitely not toying the idea of coming out. And that's the reason he's taking the time, getting some fluids in, getting his muscles to relax, so that he can last those few overs that is needed to get the job done.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, as much as it's concerning for the East Bay Blazers as well, that one of their counterparts is down and is receiving treatment, it's also a little frustrating for them because the game's momentum is being taken away, and at the same time they're going to spend more time in the sun.
Absolutely. There's a little bit of breeze there, relief. But what has not been relieving for them is the huge sixes that the batsmen have hit, which has brought new, fresher, harder balls, and that has aided some of the batsmen to play the shots. What would have been a little easier for the bowlers to probably bowl with a little rougher ball, and making it difficult for the ball to travel, with likes of Adam Crosswaith and Harmeet Singh probably got distance on the ball because it was a harder, newer ball. And as I say that, Rishi Bhardwaj is on his feet, both his pads intact, which is good sounds, and the dugout responds with some words of encouragement for him. Fascinating phase here. 13 runs needed off 25 balls. The run rate isn't the question here anymore. It's the question of keeping your head and seeing the job through. Faster you do it, you get some net run rate points. If one is not thinking about that and just wanting to get some winning points, then one has a lot of time here to choose the right balls and and get the run scored. Like you mentioned, Shuhas, I don't think Rishi would be looking at some. They will have to look at some boundaries.
Everyone, we won already. We won. 4 overs, 13 runs.
One more ball to go here in Arnav Iyer's over. 169 for 5. And the play is about to resume.
Where's the connector to this?
I think he took it with the.
Who? I took it with me. I took it with
the mic. Okay.
Mic is here. Connector.
He missed the ball completely, but so did the wicket-keeper, and the ball trickled down towards the boundary. But it was good to see Rishi Bharadwaj scampering for 2, which augurs well, which means he's probably feeling a little relieved on those flaring hamstring of his. 2 valuable runs taken, 11 more to win, 169 for 5, 171 for 5.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Hey, Lucia, any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
Zuper is the world's most powerful field service management solution to work your way and drive more impact. As the most flexible and customizable app for your field operations, Zuper is field service your way. Learn more at zuper.co.
Over. And Shadley plays craftily towards the gully region. No runs, and like I said, there's no pressure as far as run rate required run rate is concerned. They can take their time. That's what Shadley is doing. 2 good balls onto the stumps by the left armour. He's played them with a lot of respect. Beg your pardon, it's a right armour to a left-handed batsman. Vikash Mohan. Doing it well, bowling stump to stump here. Not giving any room for the batsman to free up his arms. And for Shadley, the options are simple. If the ball is not there to be hit, to take a scoring shot, he's going to play defensively because the circumstances are in his favor at this point. That's up in the air, taking the leading edge as Shadley tries to play towards the leg side from outside the off stump. But the ball takes the leading edge, goes up in the air. No harm done, just a single. And the score after 17 overs is 172 for 5. Mark Dayal comes back for his second over. First over went for 16. And he's bowling to Rishi. 10 to get from here in 3 overs. The batsman definitely not wanting to take any risk at this stage whatsoever. And he tried to play a cross-batted swipe towards the leg side. The ball was coming in from outside the off stump. Maybe the height is the issue. There was a loud appeal by the batsman and a little bit from the wicket-keeper as well. But clearly the ball going above the stumps. No harm done, a leg bye taken. In fact, there was no run taken there.
He's calling for wide.
173 for 5. There's still a lot of excitement here. Rishi keen to get this match over. At this time, wanting to turn it into that big, massive vacant real estate on the leg side. The ball did not come as he wanted. It stopped and came. Nothing to worry about there. And this time, he just pushes it to the cover and picks up an easy single as David Bunn picks up the ball. Eight runs to get in 2.1 overs, 17 balls left. Oh, 13 balls left, sorry. Mark Dayal with this last ball of this over to Shadley. And Shadley swirls up, and that's been hoiked over the cow corner for a six.
Bonnie Matthew. ठीक है.
And that was the end of the over. And the score is 108.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
एक बार फनी को पता होगा.
Vikash Mohan comes back for his second over. He bowled a good over the previous one, just a run. 2 more runs to go for this particular over, the particular game. Huge anticipation around the ground. The little crowd that is here all on their feet to see their home team record their first win of the season. Two more to get. Rishi Bhardwaj, he's played an innings of character here. He was involved in a bit of a mishap with Andrews Grouse. He's ensured that he's seen through his team. This time, Paddle sweeps the ball towards the middle fine leg and completes 2 runs. And that's going to see the Seattle Thunderbolts off scoring their winning runs out here and opening their points tally for this season of minor league cricket. And they would be mighty pleased that they were able to put one across the East Bay Blazers, an opposition who had 2 victories against them last year. So they certainly would feel mighty chuffed coming out of this weekend on an even keel with a 1-1 win-loss record. At the end, it was professionally done from them. There were minor ebbs and flows through the innings. There were some hiccups on the way, but Rishi Bhardwaj, that man, kept them in the hunt and ensured that there was no further flutters. He kept one end solidly blocked, scoring 40 of 38 runs, 38 balls. Jagrup Raina scored 9, Andreas Gauss 13, Rahul Singh, he played one of the most pivotal hands out here, 50 of 25 balls. Adam Crosthwaite came in and weighed in with his 23 from 11. Harmeet Singh, the captain, came and clobbered a few sixes, 28 of 9. And then Shadley, he came in and ensured that no further flutters happened in the camp of Seattle Thunderbolt, ensuring that they won the game. At the end, there's a lot to cheer about from this weekend for the home crowd here. Seattle Thunderbolts beating East Bay Blazers by 5 wickets in the second game of the Western Division in Pacific Conference between these two teams. 182 for 5 from 18.2 overs at the end. From the bowlers, Angelo Pereira, 24 runs out of his 3 overs. Rusty Theron picked up 2 wickets, 29 runs of his 3 overs. Nawaz Khan had a silent day here, 2 overs, 19 runs. Mark Dayal, 2 overs, 23 runs. Arnavaya, 2 over, 1 for 26. David Bunn, 1 for 35 from his 4. Srinivas Mohan had an expensive 1 over for 18. And Vikash Mohan, 3 runs of his 1.2 overs. So at the end, it was a wonderful days of cricket here. And we saw a good battle between the bat and ball. Both the teams putting their skills on display. But this has been a remarkable day for Rahul Singh. 2 overs, 13 runs, 1 wicket when he came on to bowl some of his leg breaks and then came in and played an explosive 50 of 25 balls with 5 fours and 3 sixes. It's quite evident he's clearly put his contention for the man of the match in this game. So that brings to the conclusion of this double-header weekend here in the Greater Seattle region from Kalani Park in Issaquah. Once again, a shout out to our sponsors here at the Seattle Thunderbolts camp. The diamond sponsors, UST. Platinum sponsors, City University of Seattle. The gold sponsors, Apna Bazaar, Zuper, B Talent and Dream Vision. Also a shout out to this minor league youth cricket that's going to happen from the 25th to 29th July in Houston. Seattle Thunderbolts youth team is going to play there too. There was some selection camp that was set up last week on Friday. Massive interest expressed by the young talent of this region. So we are looking forward to that coming through as a massive feeder pipeline for the minor league cricket here. So we bid adieu to you from this particular weekend, and the next set of home games would be around about the 23rd to 24th July, when the Seattle Thunderbolts will be hosting the Silicon Valley Strikers. So till then, myself, Sheel Majumdar, along with my colleague Suhas Vedam, saying goodbye to all the viewers. Thank you.
Throw it to the postman, sir. Throw it to the postman.
I don't think